3, 2, 1.
Woo! Woo! Woo!
Oh, show!
Oh,
My God, your kicking table and the computer just shook.
It is, no one was mad that you cut the whole thing. You go anywhere.
What do I do with that?
Yeah, and the Macho Madness and the Hulkamania.
On top of that, you're the best wrestler of all time. So I absolutely adore you.
For being the cream of the crop, yeah.
Let's go!
Fucking idiot, you have no idea what you're fucking talking about. God. They were saying Sony apparently said that the PlayStation 5. You fucking suckers! Is that the end of it?
Or every pixel of the game engine into the face. Can't say
That Dallas. What did you know? When that's like part of my Christmas.
Hi, guys. Welcome back to the Break Room Podcast. We got the full house today.
Yay! That's right.
What is this, like 3 weeks in a row? Is this like a new record?
What?
One clap for the streak.
Hey, bada bing.
Fuck
bada bing.
Goldberg.
Getting better at it.
We're going to have a nice little connection here while we upload you guys with some nostalgia and fun. And
Oh, my heart
it'll be
hurts.
fantastic.
Friday Night
Fantastic.
Smackdown on USA Network. We're rocking the Cody Rhodes attire. The son of a plumber.
Open
The
with
grand son of a
the show with
plumber.
a bang. They fucking open with the cage match. They
Yeah,
got
man, a cage match to open
Roman
up the
Reigns
show.
comes out. They're
That's
going
awesome.
off the top of the cage. That was I didn't expect to be
Whole
turned on to see
bloodline
that.
and Cody and Roman kind of battling together to ward off the new bloodline. That was awesome. That was
It's a
a
new
great way to
cage,
start
too.
the show.
You saw that.
New
There's a
cage,
new
new
cage
logo.
for that. New logo
New
for sure.
fresh paint.
The S and the D are
Fresh
kinda
coat of paint on SmackDown.
Take that prime cart and throw it in the fucking ocean.
That's interesting that
Yeah.
SmackDown and Raw are going to be on the same channel, I guess, for the
little
first
bit.
time ever.
For a limited time, until
until
Netflix.
January.
There's
And-
anticipation, though. I
and
can't wait
mo-
to see this Raw on fucking Netflix.
Well, even more significantly, until then, at least, Raw is going from 3 hours to 2 hours,
Well,
which it's been.
Thank you.
3
Did we
hours.
not talk about this? We
Yeah.
talked about this since we started this fucking show.
Less
Let's think a
jabronis,
little bit
more
less.
stars on the show.
Right,
Like,
well,
less
concentrate.
filler.
and,
You know?
Yeah.
What did you say about too much salt before? Too much salt, not good.
Oh, we'll talk about
Fucks up
that
your
later
food.
too when we talk about AEW.
What I like most about that, and this is probably for Vin as well, you're going to get an 8 to 10 o'clock Raw, and then you still have a whole hour to watch the second half of Monday Night Football.
Hell yeah!
Am I wrong?
Hell yeah! Love that.
Speaking of week 1 of the NFL, how did you think that went for you? I'm sorry.
Oh man,
It's like we reversed seats from last year. You know?
I was nervous as shit.
At least you're not a Miami Dolphin fan.
Oh, dude, I feel terrible for him. First, the Packers opened up their season down in Brazil. It was interesting, but that field was a
Brazil.
fucking slip and slide.
Yeah.
It was, it just looked weird.
Yeah.
Compared to all the other games we watched for the rest of the week, looked weird. I will say, having watched all of as many games as I could,
Yeah.
I feel like the Packers look good. Got to be honest. I feel like they came out, they went toe-to-toe with the Eagles. The Eagles are a great team, great defense. You can't say Jalen Hurts
There was
is
a lot
great
of shitty
QB.
calls in that game, too.
Right.
There was a lot of bullshit in that game.
So-
that game and the fucking Chiefs game, like they might as well be just sleeping with the refs.
Jesus, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Just stay out of it for a little while. Jesus Christ. So I'm confident, except for obviously Jordan Love getting hurt in the last 10 seconds of the fucking game. It was just
6,
like-
actually. It was 6 seconds on the clock.
Rob, so Joe, just real quick, I was staring off into space on the last episode watching, and you left, as we wrapped up. So I stayed to finish the game, and it was coming down to the wire. Rob turns to me and he's like, "You think they should go for it and try to get the touchdown, or like why risk somebody getting hurt?" And I was like, "No, of course they're going to go for it. And, you got to try to win the game. I don't care if there's 10
That
seconds,
was on
4
camera
seconds."
while we were live?
No, that was after we wrapped, cleaned up.
No, this
We're
was
just
like
standing
minutes
right
before
here.
it
Freak
happened.
out? Did you flip tables?
No,
He just looks at me and he's like, "You fucking called it."
Yeah, he fucking called it, dude. That was.
I was like, is it worth risking an
looked-
injury in the first game of the season?
I'll remind Rob not to watch any games with him this year.
Jesus, bro. I swear. When he said it, I was like, why did you say
Fucking
that?
Put the Maloika on them.
I will say the field, I almost think, helped the injury because I think if his foot was planted in turf, similar to MetLife's like turf, that injury could have been worse. But I think the travel, his cleat kind of slid, his knee slid with it. It was like
Wasn't as bad.
might have avoided a tear. I don't know.
MCL, ACL, you're done for the year.
Right now, it's just a sprain. They're playing games saying he might even play. He's questionable for Sunday. Got a strategy. You know, you're fucking with the other team.
I bet the Colts. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I get it.
The only thing that I would say is it's regardless of who's quarterback for the Packers, it's still tough to beat them in Lambeau Field.
I agree. I think that team is dangerous. It's not the Aaron Rodgers show the way it used to be, and I think there's a lot of pieces there. The defense is good. They're getting a new scheme down. They look like they were putting on serious pressure against Jalen Hurts. So I like Jacobs. I think as long as we can get some little bit of running going, fucking Texans ran all over them. Joe Mixon just destroyed them last week. So they'll be looking for that. They're going to pressure Malik. Forgot the guy's last name.
Not as bad as James Cook ran over the Dolphins last night.
Jeez, that game was ugly, bro. That was ugly for many reasons.
Somebody bet, I think, $100 bet. They bet that he would score 3 touchdowns in one game, and they won $25K off of a $100 bet. Yeah.
Fucking
I don't know
Cook.
who comes up with that.
Cook. Yeah, I would never. I didn't even
his
draft him in my fantasy. I didn't give a
3
shit.
touchdowns. It's crazy.
Fucking Buffalo looks pretty good compared to their first week, their opener. So
The goddamn Jets.
it's just great to always have football back.
The goddamn Jets.
Jets.
The
Wait, tell
only
me-
thing I can
give me-
say,
yeah,
my
give me
only
the-
saving grace is they played against the best team in the league.
Right.
I don't consider the Chiefs because the Chiefs buy the fucking refs off. So the
Mahomes is
49ers,
still-
even without Christian McCaffrey,
Right.
were still fucking dominant on the run game. My biggest concern is that no Christian McCaffrey and the Jets still couldn't stop the fucking run.
Right.
They ran all over that fucking defense, and the defense was touted, vaunted Jets defense. You give them a fucking quarterback that's functional, they're going to be... No, dude. He hasn't played in over 600 fucking days, and he's 40 years old. You can't expect Aaron Rodgers to start slinging it like he's the MVP in 2017. Like, that's just not realistic.
Yeah.
It may or may not take him like half the season until he gets into his rhythm.
There's been 2 years of hype. So no matter what, unless he threw 4 touchdowns that night, it was a disappointment. I
mean,
think he
the
looked
first quarter
off.
was good.
He had some. He looked like, he looked like Aaron Rodgers. He's still him. He's still got the arm, but you can see he's looking for the first look. He's really trying to get the ball out of his hands, which is great. But Rodgers is known for extending the play, finding that extra man.
That
and getting
was
that guy
my
open.
probably my biggest concern is regardless of the fact that it was Aaron Rodgers behind center, it still looked like the bullshit Jets offense of last year,
Right.
where they rushed throws, they threw the ball within 3 seconds, they did their check down, and then that's really it. Like, Aaron Rodgers is known for taking time in the pocket and setting up a play.
Right.
I don't know.
Getting downfield.
I'm really looking forward to Sunday against the Titans, who actually have a really good defense. So this isn't going to be a cakewalk for the Jets. So I do think the Jets will win, probably by about 6.
Okay.
I give them 6,
Okay.
but it's not going to be a cakewalk.
I agree. I think there's an overhype to it, a sense that they were just going to turn it on, look like a Super Bowl team.
Expectations enormously high for them to kind of even like match
Too high.
that.
It's too high. It's New
not
York media
realistic.
market. It's unrealistic. But also, yes, you're right. It's the 49ers.
Well,
They're-
also, Aaron was also bit himself in the mouth by saying, like, oh, if we beat this team, we're going to the Super Bowl. If we don't, we're the same old Jets. So are you
I
the
didn't
same
even
old
see
Jets
that.
now?
I
Oh, yeah,
didn't-
he said that fucking in the promo to the game.
I'll tell you what. Expect him to shoot himself in the foot. With his
What?
mouth
Is that
a
what he
lot.
does a lot?
Especially with the New York media. Like, really,
It's not going to go too well.
He can't. So, you're facing the best team in the league. They're the most physical team in the league. They're the dirtiest team in the league. They play. So Shanahan plays like Belichick. He coaches around the rules. He does not follow the rules. He's not a coach that's like, oh, what's the rule? I got to follow the rule.
This
He
is
goes,
not Nam Donnie, there are rules.
What can I break? What can I bend?
Yeah.
He was doing double mode. He was moving 2 players at once. You could see the running back gets a head start on a motion play. So the receiver is still traveling, and the running back suddenly gets a first step before the ball snapped. That's false start. That's immediate. Just, yeah. But he's coaching them to do it. He wants them to push the refs, break the fucking rules. It's constant. I've seen it in every playoff, especially with the Packers, constantly meeting the 49ers in the playoffs. They push the fucking limit. They'll get dirty. 3 men on a tackle. Boom, boom, boom. Even though the guy's pretty much down, there's a tackle. A lot of teams you'll see, they'll let up.
Yeah.
No, they'll fucking dogpile.
They don't call unnecessary roughness.
Never. No, they never do. So it's like they always push what they can get away with. They're extra physical. Fred Warner's a maniac. He's a fucking physical, violent player. He still has that old school football mentality. And that's how that team is coached. That's how that team plays. You can see it every single time. The only thing with them is they can tend to find a way to beat themselves. They almost think they're too good, and they get a little cocky, and I don't know, something kind of goes awry. But what's Chris saying? Chris
Couldn't read the comments.
We got some good comments here. Jets commentary.
We got Jets comments. Come on, let's bring in the Jets fans.
Figure we'll,
How do Jets fans feel?
We
How
do
you
this
guys
show
feeling
live
out
for
there?
I don't want to
reason,
start
right?
sweating.
How you guys feeling?
I just showered. God damn it. Do I
Hey,
smell
this is
good?
the only time we
I
can
smell
talk
good,
football. This is probably my only topic.
Brett
that
Alt has a comment here. Why don't you read it, Joe, as the resident fucking...
Well, if I had internet in this house, I would be able to do it.
Did they give you the fucking Wi-Fi?
I got the Wi-Fi, but it's
the
slow.
Wi-Fi's
It's just
broken.
his
I
ass.
don't know why it's not working today.
It's just fucking slow.
It's a restart.
Well, you got all of us on YouTube right now.
All right, so we're talking about Brett, right?
Yep.
Brett with 2 T's. The New York Jets defense is terrible. They gave me -1 point rating in my first week of fantasy football. The league I'm in. The Jets are still the Jets. I don't see them winning too many games this year. I don't think my Patriots might. Fuck your Patriots. You already came off the wrong fucking side. talking to me about the Jets ain't going to be the Jets and you're a Patriots fan.
Brett.
I guarantee you, Brett, with 2 fucking T's, and you're not the real Brett. Anyway, the Jets will have a better record than the Patriots by the end of the season. And you can watch this show in January, and we can talk about it then, motherfucker. I don't want to hear nothing about no goddamn Patriots. Your team is dead. It's not 2005. It's over. They're going to be the worst fucking team in that division, period.
Didn't they come out with a win?
1 fucking win means nothing.
I'm just saying, that was not expected. I didn't expect Jacoby
They beat
Brissett
a fucking hobbled Joe Burrow who's not himself yet.
Since he looked terrible, that's another one. Yeah, I'm
another
shocked by
another
that,
fucking turd.
but especially with the Jamar Chase
And that ruined my
contract
parlay,
shit.
by the way, because I had 2 teams that upset last week, and one of them was the Patriots.
Fucking Jamar
Give it
Chase.
back to him, Brett. I want
Jamar
the
Chase
counter
totally
response from
totally
Brett.
fucked me because he
Didn't do
holding
that.
out on his contract. Then he was reported as ill on Saturday, so I benched him.
Great.
I benched him. I'm like, And then what happens? Of course, he comes out. He gets 12, which would have helped me. I still won the fucking I won with my defense, which is the most nerve-wracking thing because I actually had the 49ers defense. I'm sorry. And it gave me the 10 points I needed to win.
Only a Patriots fan, Brett, would draft the Jets defense on their fantasy football team.
They better bring that Madden rating down. I'll tell you that. I want to see that Madden rating fall a couple.
No. It's 1 week.
Come on.
They don't adjust the Madden ratings until like week 5. Let's slow down. Let's pump the brakes. They played the 49ers.
I'm already emailing Madden like, yo, you better
slow
fucking take
it
these
down.
guys down a
Slow it
notch.
down.
Aaron Rodgers can't run out of the pocket. What are you doing?
We're talking about overrated and overpriced. We go into our hot topic of the subject
I think it's the
because
it's
we
the
could talk
topic of the
we
week.
could talk football all day until our
These guys
football
won't
in
say
the
shit.
face,
These
but
guys won't say shit.
Chris
I
may
have
fall.
nothing to say about the football.
Chris may fall asleep. Rob doesn't care.
I at least know when not to speak about something I don't have any
I
expertise
mean, that's
in.
everybody on this show. I don't
I
talk
just-
about
We're all
games.
pretty good at
all
it.
right,
That's
let's
not a
hold on.
jab
Game
at
of
you
Thrones
guys.
comes up.
Before-
I don't really.
You guys,
not a
fucking-
jab at you
your
guys,
eyes
I'm
rolling
just
your
saying.
head like,
That's
it's
what.
like
Yeah, you
dying.
guys, your eyes start rolling in the back of your
I've
fucking
fallen
head. I'll
asleep.
sit here quietly and nod my head.
Yeah, but you're
and-
the conductor, so you
All right,
can't
wait.
fall asleep.
Did Brett respond? I think Brett had a response for Joe there.
All right, Brett. Just because the name is great
Bret Hart.
doesn't make you
Yeah,
a
he
great
had a
person.
response there. He said, "Dude, I even said New England would be terrible once Brady left, so you're not wrong there."
Right.
But then again, how many Super Bowls have the Jets won compared to the New England? Rest my fucking case. I love it. That's all we love doing this show live.
They won
dish it back.
Deflategate. They won,
You know who they didn't beat? Brady wasn't there yet.
Eli Manning.
Aaron Rodgers.
Thank you. Good job, Chris.
See that? I know
he
some
knows.
fucking
Yeah, Eli Manning 2,
Eli
Tom
Ma-
Brady 0.
twice. Also, Brett Favre.
Brett Favre, yeah.
Brett Favre.
That was,
Yeah,
that
well,
was a good
Still,
time.
you can't, you can't argue.
And
with
we
the
had Flash
accolades.
Gordon, so you can't take that from us either.
Sorry,
Yes,
but I,
Phil. Thank you, Phil. Phil appreciates the shirt. It's my first time wearing this. It's a
the
brand new
new-
shirt. It's denim.
Oh, it's denim. It's not
Denim.
the
Denim.
pajamas.
It's not the
Denim,
dinner
denim,
silk
denim.
pajamas anymore.
Denim, denim, denim.
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 We apologize for our shitty lighting today. I don't know what happened. I guess
What
one of the
happened to
lights-
the lighting?
We're yellow as fuck
Yellow.
compared to you guys.
You gotta
Yeah.
turn it up then. I don't know.
Oh, we're yellow.
We're yellow and a little dingier looking over here,
yeah,
but
we
we look a little pallid.
Listen.
I was looking at you talking. I'm like, damn, Vin's not
You
that.
turn
tan.
the brightness up.
I'm
The
definitely
remote's
not
right
tan.
there. See if
It looks
it's-
fine. I
it's
don't know
behind
what you're
the computer
talking about.
monitor.
What are you
Like
talking
shit.
about
You
here?
guys side
Maybe on
by
the
side.
computer.
I don't drive when they're
Just hit
predicting
hit
rain.
the arrow up.
Yeah, you
It
know
should
what
make
to
the
do.
brightness go up.
The brightness
Fuck,
go
don't
up.
even bother.
Little
You guys
yellow.
are gonna get washed out.
So,
Bright white. Yeah.
I will wrap
So-
up. I feel
Look,
that
terrible
better?
for Tua Tagovailoa. Right.
No.
That's all.
How's
maybe
that?
That's a.
You guys are a
The
little
lights are
bright now.
changing, and
How's that? One notch
fine.
down.
To a Tonga Viola.
Tonga
It's a little better than it was, right?
Yeah.
It's nice.
Yeah.
That's a terrible thing. You hate to see
Maybe
that
he'll
shit.
go.
I hate those
Maybe he'll
injuries.
join the bloodline. You know.
Help the bloodline.
He definitely could.
Yeah.
Before we talk about the PlayStation 5 Pro's ridiculous price tag, Hell's called out too. Vin and Rob's arm are once again one.
Yes, I enjoyed that when I pulled up the stream.
Yeah, it's happening again.
Am I too close to you? Is that the problem?
No,
there?
when you
Nah,
divide.
yeah, you could probably move over if you. Yeah, there you go.
Oh.
But but I like the arm.
Doing
effect.
this show of 3
It's
years.
like
we
my
have to adjust
elbow
our
completes
arms.
your arm.
I see right there.
It's like when Solid Snake's Liquid Snake's arm.
Brother!
I've been waiting for this. Classic PlayStation game.
All right,
What
so
are we mad about today?
Chris,
The whole internet.
Start
the
us
entire
off.
fucking internet.
you called it. The actual promo to our show, the opening to our show, is you cursing out Sony
That's right.
about them possibly the rumor that they could come out with a mid console generation update a la a PS5 Pro. They had a 9-minute reel just to tell you
quick, yeah.
about the PlayStation 5 Pro.
Sure.
Let's kick it to you, and what are your thoughts?
Well, my thoughts are facts, and the facts are this is going to be the most expensive video game console that's ever been released. I'm not talking about if you upgrade the storage and then suddenly your PlayStation 5 is more expensive or something like that.
Not necessarily if you factor in inflation, but it's okay.
Sega Saturn was very expensive when it was
It's also
released.
coming standard with 2
PS3
terabytes of
I
storage.
was
saw
twice
the
the
original
launch.
PS3
Yeah.
adjusted by inflation. I think might be the most expensive.
Really?
But you're
Well, the PS3 was $600.
$700 current dollars.
So I don't know about $150 more from however many years ago. The
700 is just an ugly number.
It's a big number. $699.
$700 before
It's just,
tax. You're going to get $8 for every 100.
Well, it's 800 if you want the stand and the actual disc drive.
Yep.
Oh, so the disc drive is still an option.
It is
It's
an
$80,
option. Yep.
just like Apple.
Oh, I thought there was no option for it. That's what I
No,
thought.
it's $80.
Who the fuck needs a disc drive?
I still have a disc drive on my PS5.
So the
and
disc
How many times
drive-
do you use it? How
the-
many times do
I've
you use
never
it?
used it.
Disc
never
drive
once.
is for
That's
I
backwards
used it for
compatible
Spider-Man,
games.
which I
That's
didn't
all.
even finish
I
playing.
get, yeah, no.
That's,
I-
you're not buying digital
I like
media today.
the option.
But if you wanted to play a PlayStation 4 game, a PS3 game, like
I like
you
the
could on a
ability-
Series X, you could put an Xbox original game in the Series X and it'll play.
I definitely agree with that. And UHD Blu-rays. I
Sure.
like the ability to do that.
It
I
always
would
looks
like-
better on a Blu-ray than if you stream it.
Streaming sucks. Yeah, 100%. But the thing about games you can't even play off a disc anymore because the disc isn't fast enough to play the game.
Yeah.
So people say things like, "Oh, you can play by the hardware." Like you still need the fucking internet. You say,
Well,
so it's,
here's
it's
the
one
thing,
of those
too.
things. We've been through this where we used to work. You take away something and everyone's like up in arms. Oh,
God.
my god, the whole world.
Oh my
And
God,
then
the
you find
30
out
pin.
you're-
Oh
right.
God.
Yeah, God.
Oh, you took
Change
away
it
the headphone adapter.
I don't think that's the main complaint though with
No.
the PS5 Pro. That's just like an extra, and it doesn't have this. They're taking something away but still charging you more. That's not even. I don't even care about the disc drive.
Okay.
That's fine. I have a disc drive now on my PS5. I think when you guys got it, you're like, no, it's fucking stupid. I don't need a disc drive, and you saved a little bit of money. I've never used the disc drive, but I do like having the option. But the thing is, back in the day, there was a point where going to a midnight release at GameStop or whatever was better than getting the digital version because
We didn't have digital.
you didn't. Well, no, but I'm saying
360.
even when you first started getting digital, it took forever for it to download. You had to download it. Like it became available at night to download, like
now
12
you
o'clock.
could preload.
Now you can
12:01,
preload it.
You got the game.
It's ready to go at the time
I
of
don't have
release.
to wait online with no smelly fucks.
Right.
Yeah, that
When-
shit.
Hold on, can I ask a question to the group?
Yeah.
What is the last physical game that you bought?
Destiny 1.
Destiny 1.
Well,
bought physical?
10 years ago.
Spider-Man came with the PS5 Pro in a bundle, but I never fucking even beat
No,
it.
legitimately,
So
Destiny
PS4,
1 launch.
You never bought a physical copy of anything?
No, I got some discs. I think Rainbow Six was actually a disc. I mean, the majority of the games were digital. for
The
sure.
entire console of Xbox One, I did not buy it.
I'm just saying, it used
Destiny
to be.
is the only one. and that was
Last
the
of Us
one.
came with the system
That was it.
as a
Yeah,
bundle.
it used to be a better option to go to the midnight release for a short window of time because you can get the game that night and play it that night. Whereas if you were downloading it and it took forever to download, and then there was a point where it was almost better to get the disc. But there's really no. And is this a nail in the coffin for video game stores?
No, and I have some reasons.
They're the
why.
ones that
I'll
also
tell
are the
you why.
gatekeepers to getting the system.
Right.
So
That's the exact reason you're going to use. This is GameStop's only purpose in life at this point, is to offer trade-in value to allow for upgrading.
Which ain't bad, by the way, when you showed me that.
that's the price
If you're
right
getting
now.
$385
Right now.
Oh, actually, they upped it.
$357.
I think it's 4 and change. They upped it. I saw a tweet from GameStop.
Well,
How
let's
could it
see
be
on
4? I
release
paid
day.
4 for it.
First of all,
I think
all
for
right,
digital,
you know what?
For disc versions,
Oh.
they were $4.99.
Got it.
They're going in for like 4 and change.
Yeah.
So that means a 4-year-old system, a game system I got 4 years ago, pretty much, not to the day, is still only lost what? 5%,
Very wishful
10%?
thinking. Very wishful thinking. That's the price right now. When the PS5 Pro comes out, I doubt you'll get that much. And also, how fucking long is it going to take to get a PS5 Pro?
That's a whole
Well, you're
different-
not even
why-
asking.
predict.
You're not even asking the right questions. But that's irrelevant at this point. We know it's going to take a while. But to give you a prediction, and
You know how fucking long it took to get a PS5
Yeah, I
for
know.
everybody?
So, well, I didn't
you
want
had
it
to
in the
like
beginning.
fucking
I know.
sell crack. Everybody was
Wait.
buying them up, scalping
Why
them.
is the
bots.
criticism every like it's just frustrating.
I'm not
at
really
this
It
worried
took me fucking 4 months
No,
to
no,
get
no.
a fucking
I'm just
PlayStation
saying,
Portal.
it
They
feel-
got to fix their
What-
fucking
all right,
supply
let's-
chain issues.
let's-
COVID was 4 years ago. I don't hear any fucking excuses that it should take me months to get a new fucking system if I want it. That's
We
fucking bullshit. I'm
are
tired
not-
of hearing about COVID.
We are not stuck in 2020. We are not stuck in supply chain issues. They're still using a majority of what's available off the shelf today. The only thing being upgraded is the GPU truly in the system.
which is the biggest
And the
gripe
storage.
for me.
So I wanted to ask, what are the 3 main criticisms you're seeing when it comes to the system?
The price is way too high. It's $700 plus.
Right.
Right? There have been no next-gen level or very few next-gen level games. We have barely tapped into the power of the PS5 as it is. What next-gen? The next-gen games that I'm playing are old games that were upscaled for next-gen. I'm playing Grand Theft Auto 5, and that looks like a next-gen game when you fuck with the settings and you put on
Funny,
the
I've been
performance
saying
RT.
this for like about 2 years, but no one listens to me. It's all right.
I've been saying it too. What are the next gen level games?
Nothing.
And
There's
now
nothing.
you're going to tell me, well, you can get an even better system that's even more capable of playing games that we're never going to fucking release.
I think there was a list of 20 titles that honestly even use
I
the
couldn't tell.
technology.
So that's
that was
two.
If I
necessary.
put glasses on,
Spider-Man, Ratchet and Clank, like some of the original titles, but
So
it's like they're few and far between.
That's two.
Yep.
And then, so you have the price. You have we gotten our money's worth out of the PS5 as it is? And what next gen level games have we gotten so far that have already tapped into its power?
Sorry, my wife is on TV, Tiffany Stratton.
Oh, yeah, she
Whoa.
looks great.
Anyway,
And criticism number 3, I mean, I
It
don't know what
doesn't
that for
look
me.
that much different, or it's not that much more
It's
powerful.
negligibly
that's
in
number
people's eyes.
that's number 2 for me.
Yeah, that's what I'm hearing.
Number 1 for me is the lie.
Shoot.
The initial lie when the PlayStation 5 was released,
Yes, I know.
that they specified this console can do 8K, 4K, 60 frames, 120 frames at 4K resolution. Bullshit.
They sold it
now,
to us as if that's what it would
Now you're
be.
telling me, now it can do it for another what? Give me $1,000. 1,000 more?
You need to look at this.
It's true. They
You
sold
need
it to us.
watch the,
Sorry,
the,
I
the-
was distracted.
You need to watch the wide-angle shot of that. 'Cause those
Anyway, number 1 reason is the initial lie Sony told us when they fed us a PlayStation 5. This console was seriously underpowered in comparison to an Xbox Series S, Xbox Series X, I should say.
I don't.
That's not
It is. It is accurate.
by 10%.
It's accurate. 15% more is the PS5 Pro, only more powerful than a Series
As
X.
you just said before, you couldn't tell the difference between whatever and whatever. You can't tell your eyeballs can't tell the difference between 10%. And also the thing.
Well, that was my second thing. I can justify the price if you're going to give me something that's vastly improved and vastly like different, and in terms of like graphical output, like these consoles should be doing 64K because that's what you positioned for us in the first place. That's what the whole point of going to this console generation was, that you'll be able to do 64K and then you'll be able to do 120 frames. It's bullshit.
It's unrealistic expectation.
It's not about unrealistic
expectation.
expectations.
You know why?
It's
You know why?
talking about Vin.
They
It's not
said it.
about.
You're
It's
talking
not
about
about what
marketing.
they said this can do. They told us directly, buy this generation
There
console.
will be no compromises.
bullshit.
Right? But
It's fucking bullshit.
But here, let's just for
they set us up.
for instance,
They cooked up a story and dropped the 6 of us into the meat grinder.
And I just want to pile on that before you make
Dog
your
pile
point.
me.
Is Then it became, okay, cool, we got it now. We finally, after struggling to get this fucking system.
Yeah, and you're playing Grand Theft Auto 5 on it.
What? Okay, where are the games? Oh, well, but COVID. COVID happened, and that fucked everything up, and
then
everybody
everybody
got laid off,
and
and
all that
everybody
shit.
strikes. And then so there was excuses, maybe legitimate excuses.
I hate
Okay,
that
but
blurry.
and then all of a sudden, here we are. We're on PS5.
Tell me that girl's outfit doesn't
we're
look
on
like the
PS5
carpet in a
Pro.
laser tag, please.
It does.
Now, do you remember, just like for
Just took me back
for the
right there.
sake of understanding like how powerful the consoles are, do you remember what your PlayStation 4 sounded like when you were playing Grand Theft
Yeah, the
Auto?
fan was loud. It never made a difference because I had my headphones
Do you
on.
remember what your
The
PS4
PlayStation 4
Pro
was the only system that ever stopped working on me. Ever.
Really?
In
Xbox
all in
360.
the history
I
of
had-
I don't
I had
know
at
what
least-
I don't know what you're getting at.
I didn't even get a
You're
red
justifying a
button yet for my
$700
Xbox
price tag to have a
360.
quieter system.
I'm trying to paint a picture for you.
All right, painting the picture. Let me hear.
Red Dead 2. How did your PS4 Pro? Why did you upgrade to a PS4 Pro at the time?
I didn't have either of those systems.
I did, and it was because
4K.
GameStop had a great deal. And
4K was the only reason to upgrade. The PS4 was not
Okay.
capable of 4K, right?
Okay.
The jump to 4K,
Okay.
which is a big jump.
But the PS5 is capable of 4K
right.
and 60 frames.
It's an 8-fold jump from 1080p to 4K.
Well, what's the jump here?
Well, no, we're still in 4K,
Okay.
but 4K 60 frames per second because we're
Whoa.
dealing with ray tracing now. Because we've added an element that didn't exist. People underestimate what that actually takes to the horsepower required to really get the level of games you're talking about.
Sorry, I'm
When
not really
you
blown
want-
away by ray tracing. Draw distance would capture
well-
me more than ray tracing does at this point.
Certain games make certain compromises,
Uh,
but right now, still to this day, the most demanding game on the market is Cyberpunk 2077, right?
runs great on my PC.
60
How much
4K?
did you pay to make that run that good?
What do you mean? 64K on Series X?
No. You're playing a watered down version. If you saw it on Chris's PC, it's completely different.
But a PC is capable of doing far more many things than a video game
don't-
system is.
Bullshit. Who cares? Oh, I could type word fucking and I could browse the internet.
You could do it,
You
yeah.
built it
I
to
could
play
run
video
AutoCAD
games.
on
You
it if I
built-
want
Yo,
to.
you do that all the time?
No, but I
so
Pornhub.
what did you pay for to get it to that level?
all said and done, probably like $1,800.
Almost $2,000 to
1,000
run
more?
ultra graphics.
Ultra.
So when we talk about where are the games, where's the knockout, like holy shit game, in reality, it requires a $2,000 fucking computer to do it. So when you talk about a
That's always been a thing.
a $699 system that can run a game at ultra, that actually is a deal. That you're actually getting a more bang for your buck versus paying $2,000.
Yeah, but that's putting you in a niche audience because only a niche audience is going to want to shell out that type of money to have a slightly better advantage in terms of resolution and frame rate.
But I'm just saying, you want 4K, 60 frame per second, ray tracing or draw distance, whatever you want to put in there.
But they
it's
had
high
that.
demand.
But they had that.
That is high demand
I-
CPU,
I under-
GPU
I understand
shit.
all
That is
that.
not like you can't. This is the first generation of true 4K, like because the PS4 Pro was.
But I feel like we heard that with the PS5.
But that's
What do you mean?
They
Then
sold
if you
it.
go,
Nobody
if you
knew,
go back
but
to the pitch,
the one
and
thing
the sell,
was
and that's what
nobody
they.
knew about fidelity performance. That was the thing. No one understood you would have fidelity mode or performance mode. I built both these guys' computers, right? And I built them up to spec to be PS5s before they were out. That was pretty much what we had kind of talked about. We wanted 4K. We wanted to be able to run games at max. You wanted to be able to kind of upgrade if you were going to go, I'm sorry, max 1080p. We weren't even doing 4K. Those computers were like $1,500, $2,000. I mean, Rob's was like $3,000. To get that level of processing, you are paying for it. The GPU equivalent of what they're putting in the Pro is still retailing for $499. The CPU is still $399. So to me, I understand sticker shock. I understand the promises that were made.
It's not sticker shock. $700, I can fucking. That's no problem. We're adults. We make that no problem. That's not the point. The point is they fucking fucked us with a fucking
Fucked us with the
system.
cell phones.
With a fucking system that came out 4 years ago where they fucking promised us X, Y, and Z, and we didn't get shit.
To your earlier point, like, did you pay for a quieter system? Pretty much. I did.
No, I paid to play God of War and Spider-Man.
Well, my PS4 Pro was gonna another one that was just gonna take off if I was running it. If I was doing Red Dead Redemption 2 at 4K,
Right.
I didn't even have an OLED yet, so I really wasn't.
So what you're saying is you're justifying that.
I'm just saying I think the expectations of the market and what we want, we want the best. We want 4K. We're going to talk about this Grand Theft Auto thing. We want 4K, 60 frames per second, locked. We want it locked at 4K.
So do you think that $700 price tag, let's say $800 after tax, after the peripherals, all that shit, is that worth removing the option to toggle performance mode or graphics?
I will say,
and give you just now.
I'll give my reasoning because I'm going to trade in my system and I'll pay the difference.
Well, you're going to pay $350. If you're going to get $350, you're going to pay $350 plus tax. You're spending $400. It's like you're buying a new console again. If you bought a digital PS5, it's $400.
It's 4 years later. We are 4 years into this. I get it.
How many games in those 4 years?
4 years. I totally get it.
Spider-Man. I played God of War. I've played fucking.
Spider-Man was the same game that came out before. There was no difference between the last Spider-Man and this one.
Even PS4, Pro games PS4 games looked phenomenal to play on this.
So here's the games I bought for PlayStation 5, real quick, because I'm not
you just got into it. And
I'm not an adapter of PlayStation 4, PlayStation 4 Pro, and I really wasn't going to get a PS5 until I got like a last second impulse buy. One of my coworkers said, "Hey, they got it here. Do you want me to get it for you?" I'm like, "Yeah, fuck it, get it for me, whatever."
Right.
So then the first game I bought obviously was I bought that PlayStation Premium Pass, which is another fucking jack me off, fucking rip off, because they put all these Sony first party titles and then they take them away from you just before you beat them, and I had to buy them back again because cocksuckers fucking nihilists,
is
dude.
showing you why though. That doesn't.
Let me finish. So I bought a PlayStation 5 for God of War Ragnarok. Loved it. Great game. 8.8 in my opinion. I like the first one better. I bought it for Spider-Man 2, which I didn't even buy because I fucking felt like it was a jack me off game from the first one. And after hearing you guys play it, and then I played a little bit at last year's holiday event. We went to Florida. At some point, if it drops significantly in price, I'll pick it up, no problem. I bought Resident Evil 4 Remake, which looks phenomenal, plays phenomenal. Would have been the same on Xbox, but I bought it on PlayStation so me and little Joe can fucking play together, which is a lot of fun. And we played the shit out of that game when it first came out. I bought 2 wrestling games back-to-back years, WWE 2K 23-24, just so we can have content for the show to play.
We
barely fucking touched
That's not our fault. That's not even about us.
And then I picked up
William Regal.
I picked up Madden this year so I could play with you.
Yes.
But that's it.
Game.
That's all I have on my PlayStation 5. That's it.
I get it. You're missing it. You're missing it.
I know Helldivers and some other games that came out recently and things like that.
Helldivers was not a next gen game.
I don't even have a list. A lot of people.
But if you're having a friend come over, right? Usually, when you first came over, when I had got the Series X, the first game I put on for you was Gears of War 5.
Definitely.
And it looked phenomenal. The water, the textures, 4K, 60
OLED.
frames, OLED, looked unbelievable.
I hadn't seen that.
If you're having someone come to your house for your PlayStation 5, not Pro, just PlayStation 5, what game are you putting in the system? Show them off.
What's the show-off game?
For PS5?
Yeah, what are you showing off?
Probably Spider-Man 2.
Spider-Man 2 looks
Grand Theft Auto on Performance RT.
Jesus Christ.
It looks better.
Chris is
still
the
looks
worst.
better.
Chris is the worst.
Grand Theft Auto 5 still looks better than pretty much any fucking game that's come out in the last 10 years, except for Red
That is just
Dead.
the most
That's
inventive
just
thing.
ridiculous. You're just talking.
If you're playing GTA 5 on Performance RT,
Chris, you
first
gotta
of
do-
all, physically,
Chris.
you could shut the fuck up. You
There is
cocksuckers
no
have been
way.
taking all the air out of this fucking room. Me and Rob haven't said shit.
That's
You
You
motherfuckers.
just introed the whole topic
PS5
and complained about the
Grand
whole time.
Theft Auto 5, you can move faster in that game than any other game that I know of.
30 frames.
Speed. It's not 30 frames per second.
It boosts
30 frames.
it boosts to 40.
It's 30 frames.
You can move quicker.
Performance RT is a 40 frames per
speed-wise.
second. It's not 60.
It's not
40.
speed-wise.
It's not. It's a higher frame rate.
Also,
tops out at
Grand
40.
Theft Auto, as we're going to talk about, is not the greatest litmus test for
It's a 10-year-old game.
Because
It
it's-
still looks better than any
You're
fucking
showing
game out
off
there
Grand
right
Theft
now.
Auto 5 on a PlayStation 5? You make no sense. Listen,
That's my point. That's probably one of the best games I could show off.
Listen,
And
right
that's
now
a
there's
sad
games
thing.
like Black Myth. That's
If you're
going
gonna
to
talk out of your ass,
Recon.
stand up.
Those games are
Like, I
fucking
don't know what
on
you're talking
rails.
about.
It's not an open world next gen game. You're in a fucking
We're talking
enclosed
about games
space.
you would show off. What does it
I'm
mean?
talking about
All right,
just.
well, so you can show off because it looks pretty, but
Do you
it's
consider
not a
a
next
video
gen.
game not a good video game if it's not massive multiplayer?
No, I'm not saying it needs to be massive multiplayer, but when you have a game where it's not really open world, where you're following a path the whole time, you can make that path look really pretty. But it's another
Cyberpunk
thing to make
would
it
be a strong
Cyberpunk.
candidate. Would be a strong
For
candidate to
PS5
show
though,
off
no, I wouldn't.
compared to your $2,000, machine.
Yeah,
But if
when
you're-
I show off
if
my
you're
PC,
showing
I
off
show
RT,
Cyberpunk.
You want to, you're showing off your OLED, you're showing off
Right.
high-end ray tracing
Yeah.
and reflections and neon lights, and I think Cyberpunk has a good
Yeah.
amount of that. You're not going to do, let's say you're doing Xbox like Starfield. That's a little too. It's like slightly
Yeah, it doesn't
bland
really hit.
or tone. Yeah, the tone of it's a little bit lower. Cyberpunk is still a strong contender for
Yeah.
probably one of the best looking, most
Yeah, I agree
impressive
with that.
AI,
Yeah.
dialogue-based games. It'll look great. I think it is the one thing we didn't know, or maybe people didn't understand, was when you build these PCs, you choose the settings. You select ultra,
Yeah,
high,
I get it.
medium, this, that. It doesn't present it or lock it in for you. You're able to choose, and you find the limits of your computer.
Sure.
You can fucking, push it to the max and find out your computer sucks.
Well, let me ask everybody this: when you have a game that gives you the option of performance mode or
Good question.
Fidelity?
or fidelity graphics, what do you pick?
I go with performance every
Performance.
time because performance. So when you go, so for people who don't totally understand, performance usually is going to prioritize movement and like
Frames per
especially on a
frames.
competitive video game.
versus
against other players.
fidelity might look. It's supposed to be higher resolution, but I
Right.
can tell you the difference is palpable when you go on to performance mode. The movement of the camera and the frame rate, it's noticeable.
60 frames
To
per
me.
second is to mean what next gen means.
Yeah.
More than ray tracing.
The difference that you
When
see
I look and fucking swing the camera and there's no
right.
I can't do that
no
anymore.
stuttery.
So I will go performance, and I will go performance ray tracing. If
Yeah.
Spider-Man
it's
2
all-
did it, Grand Theft Auto did it. Yes, I will pay the difference to not have the trade-off. I don't want to do that anymore. I just
All right. Well,
I
so
want
that answers your question, Rob. What say you?
I
do you
usually
pick?
I usually go for the graphics because I'm
Really?
not playing competitive. Usually, most video games that I'm playing are solo
So
games.
Rob doesn't care about the frames.
I've
really
heard
don't.
I've heard some people like with their eyes, like physically,
Can't even
they don't
see
see it as much as others. There's like
Frames?
right.
And I'm also
Some
never
people
putting
see
it
it more
into that
than others.
performance mode, so I don't have the litmus test to check it.
Should try it.
Toggle it.
Change
You
your
have to
life.
toggle it and see because you'll find that I feel like
Spider-Man?
the step for fidelity is not really perceptible. It's negligible. Versus the difference that you'll see when the camera moves quicker, you feel it. You feel the difference. So
Yeah.
100%.
we have a lot of good comments too about this topic, and I hate
Bring
to
'em in.
just not
Bring 'em
call these out. So Brett said, I think the PS5 prices are too high. I mean, I would love a PS5, but I own a PS4, and the PS5 prices are ludicrous.
Can I jump in on that?
Got a lot of comments to get through. But you
The
could.
Pro model also extends the user base because now with more trade-ins because of the 10 to 15% of sales, the PS4 Pro only accounted for 15% of total sales of PS4.
Yeah.
So for Sony,
10%
they know that.
is about the people who are interested in one too.
Right. It's like 10, you're not going to get it. They know that. That's why the show was 9 minutes long. It was just like, here you go, cool, great. They know there's a small
Yeah, we
percentage
got-
of people. So they're going to have more trade-ins.
All right.
Sony just launched their refurb sale thing for $349. You can get a PS5 model for $349. Eventually, you could see that going to $299 within the next 2 years. They're growing the install base. They want to get those PS4 folks over to a
It's
5.
almost like they realize that PlayStation 5 is like at capacity in terms of the user base.
I think sales are pretty well maxed, and you don't have Grand Theft Auto 6. Sorry, to the comments. I just wanted to. I've been reading too much fucking internet stuff, so I'm
Yeah, though a lot of the points that you're that we're all gonna make are actually said in the comments here too. So, Hell said all the power of a cheap PC, none of the perks. Phil
What?
Dunphy said it's
Cheap
objectively Vin, you're in the minority opinion here. You are to
I'm
this
on the-
topic as I am to Game of Thrones season finale.
I'm on the.
You're trying to defend the finale when everybody hated it.
I don't necessarily like.
Vin's riding that
I don't-
Sony pony.
I
you know
don't
what I mean?
think. Again, I don't think that it's unreasonable to be upset about it. But I think it's a pure overreaction. I think people are just totally. It's the one thing you can hone in on now, and especially with PlayStation being dominant, that people want to dogpile it. It's trendy. It's inflammatory. But again, it's only affecting 10% of fucking PS5 buyers.
It affects all of
It's
us,
such a
damn it.
Hold
on, let's get to the damn comments. We got like fucking 26 comments here.
Good.
Phil Dunphy said, it's objectively expensive. We've never paid this much before. They're testing the waters. Possibly a new era if it sells and they can't keep it in stock. Brett said, I own a PC. Hells, and some of the games that are on console are a lot better and more optimized on PC, so you're not wrong there. We can talk about the differences between PC and console
That's
gaming
not the
in a moment.
topic here. The topic is whether or
It's
not.
nice to riff on, but we'll get there. Let's keep going through these comments. God damn it. At Sony's mercy of what you can play, which is a point that I'm going to make. We'll get back to that, though. Most people who want a disc drive already
Call of
have
Duty?
one. Well, that's all.
Fucking Hells don't play
Hells
nothing
loves
else,
Call of
bro.
Duty, but no, because this is going to tie into what I saw Phil Dunphy said somewhere later. But Brett said, for Hells, for example, and I might get flack for this, but one of the worst games I ever played, which is Schoolgirl Zombie Hunter, is more optimized on PC than it was on PlayStation. Hells said, most of these this is why we got to stop for comments more frequently, because then I got to read through fucking 600. Most of these physical games you get have to be downloaded to the system anyways. Discs are glorified keys. That's true. That's kind of what I was going to get at, too. Like, you get the disc now, and it's like, okay, you have to do a 40-gigabyte update. So it's
I believe more in buying movies on physical at this point because of the way they rotate them through streaming services, and they look shitty.
and then they disappear forever. Phil said, why does it have Wi-Fi 7? Brett said, speaking of the... Oh, this was a good comment. Speaking of the PS5 Pro, I played Gran Turismo 7 on PS4, but I heard that the PS5 Pro may not improve how good Gran Turismo 7 looks compared to the standard PS5. That'll tie into the GTA conversation.
That's wrong. It was one of the first demos they did. It was actually only 3 games they demoed.
I really couldn't
Gran
notice
Turismo-
the difference. I couldn't.
How can you notice the difference watching a YouTube stream?
Yeah,
That's
you're not going to be able
worst
to see it on
fucking.
that.
You're not watching it on OLED. You're not watching it in 4K 60. How good is a YouTube stream?
I don't know, man.
You're talking out your ass.
Yeah, but I mean, you at least be able to see something. Like, you really got to squint your eyes, and even if you have it on.
Did you watch it on your phone?
Yeah.
Okay. What are you talking about? The resolution on your phone is.
But what I'm getting at is the price point and the fact that we haven't even like enjoyed our PlayStation 5s fully yet. They're already coming out and trying to get another $700 for us
Who the
for
fuck
something that
said-
has a minimal improvement.
Hold on.
Who
We
has
got
to buy it?
Hold on, we'll get to that because we got comments to get through here. From the Dungeon said, fuck the PS5 Pro. Fuck the Hulk Hogan. I had to say. Brett says he agrees. He said, PlayStation knows they have the fools who will buy the $700 system.
Vin.
Phil said, I need a mic.
See you guys on Grand Theft Auto, you dumb fucks. You can say all this shit all you want. I'll fucking see you on there, and all you dumb fucks will be trading in for less value.
Let me tell
And
you
you're pissed.
something,
Yeah, you'll be all
Bendejo.
fucking.
That's how they get you in
Flash
with
your
the
moves
trade-in.
on the lane, I'll
just-
take it away from you. I'm
in a
sticking
year,
up your ass and pull the fucking
almost a
trigger
year
till
from
it
now,
goes click.
if we're still doing this show a year from now, allegedly this fucking game is going to be coming out within that time period of the next 3 months.
Thought it was delayed.
Fall 2025.
Not delayed?
No,
delayed or not delayed?
Rockstar had to come out and be like, "It's
All right.
it's." We're
So
still
let's just
planning
go.
to
Let's
run it.
go around. Rob,
God
are you
damn it.
buying?
I just want to get through these fucking 600 comments. I won't read them all of them.
Jesus,
but
why don't we just have
we got a live show for a fucking reason, motherfuckers. We got to engage the audience.
Who's running the
Pick
show?
some.
The
Stop
people
reading the
or
stupid
us?
ones.
Jesus
I'm
Christ.
not. I'm trying to skip through them. I don't know what I'm going to read
Holy
until I fucking read it.
Jesus Christ.
So
Let
let's
us
get
talk.
through
You
here's
read
then.
and say you have a good one.
I can't. That's not going to fucking work.
Jesus
You
Christ.
guys trying to get in there.
We should have a comments segment.
They could talk to each other too.
Yeah.
They are
That's what
talking
it's
to
for.
each other. So
Rob, are you buying a PS5 Pro? Yes or no?
I can't afford it.
I didn't
I've
ask you
heard
that.
him say that.
Rob, don't
about
tell me
everything.
you can't afford it. Don't tell me you
$700
can't afford it. You
fucking
spend all this money on toys and fucking
Yeah, I'm
shit.
not making any money right now. So.
It's
He
four,
says
it's
that.
Still gonna
technically
get
fo-
toys,
it's technically
though.
$400. Would you not trade in your PS5 right now?
No.
What?
No.
I don't even know what you're saying.
No.
All right. I mean, it's his
wouldn't
choice.
trade
I
in-
wouldn't either. I'm not trading in my PS5 for PS5
No, he's
Pro.
saying he's getting. If you were to buy the Pro, you wouldn't trade in your 5.
No, I think I would make the other PS5 like I would leave it here for streaming purposes,
For
and I would
dust?
probably system share to my room.
Okay. I don't know what that means, but cool.
So he's crazy.
Yeah, it's nuts.
Phil Dunphy said, if your PS5 is playing native 4K
I never get
at
rid of
locked
systems. You know me.
60 frames per second, your electrical bill would be through the roof.
I looked up the CPU requirements for Cyberpunk. You need 120 watt.
Chris,
fucking
are you
processor.
getting a PS5 Pro? Yes or no?
No. Fuck you. I'm not getting a
full of
PS5 Pro. I'm not full of
Until
shit.
GTA fucking
Yeah.
I don't
6 comes
fuck.
out.
GTA
No one's
is gonna
seen-
run fine on my PS5. It's gonna
Yeah,
be
but
a negligible
they're
fucking
gonna
difference.
come out with a
hate this.
GTA fucking 6
Help.
edition of the Pro, and you're gonna want that.
Well, maybe if they
just
did
like
that.
No, the
Internet
Xbox
five.
is getting the license for
It's just
GTA 6
Internet five.
console. You'll see
Bro,
that.
can we talk about Microsoft when we're wrapping this one up? Because
No.
I'll tell you.
I have.
No,
I
no,
just
jumping the
paid
gun
for a
here.
new, beautiful, powerful PC. If I want the caviar experience, I'm gonna eat caviar on a fucking out of a caviar fucking gold-plated dish on my
You can't play
PC. I'm not
GTA
gonna be
6 on
playing
your PC.
Minecraft.
Play it on
Minecraft
the
at max fucking
Yeah.
spec.
I'd
Wow.
rather do that than.
Wow, look at these graphics. I'm
square
blown
I
was
could
away.
so
play.
nice.
I could play GTA on the PC too if I really wanted
Look
to.
how nice the square is.
But
Then I'm just going to go ahead and assume your answer is yes. You're going to trade in your PlayStation 5 and get a Pro.
Yeah.
if it maintains a very good trade-in price and they don't, right now it looks nice. I want to see the price when you actually are able to get a
Every-
I
PS5
spent all
Pro
this
every
in
money on
fucking
fucking
6
2
or 7
terabytes
months
of
when you can
storage.
When I
finally
went,
get it.
fucking-
ready? When I went from a PS4 to a PS4 Pro,
Got a good deal.
I got 50% value towards it. I got whatever 200 and change. I paid fucking $200.
Yes.
When I went from Switch to Switch OLED, GameStop was given an incentive trade in there. They'll continue to incentivize this because they're going to turn around, give me whatever it is. I mean, I'm shocked it's what it is, but they're still going to turn around, bundle those pre-builds. I'm sorry, bundle those trade-ins with a bunch of shit,
Sure.
and sell them for fucking $450 and $5.
Let's call a spade here. The money's not an object. It's not like an.
Money is a fucking object.
It's not
That's
a-
the
We
object.
don't have kids.
You
we don't
spend
even
more
have the
money on
responsibility.
Taco
I'm never
Bell.
gonna have
Right.
fucking
You
kids.
spend
ever.
more fucking
That's
money
not
on
true. I
Baja
stopped
Blast.
eating Taco
Shut
Bell
up.
like
It's
drops
all
of
over the fucking living room.
I ate it because I have to come here. I can't fucking make dinner.
What is that?
I
Put
get
that-
it one night a week now. One night a week.
Show the camera. Show the
One
camera.
night a week. Because I don't have any fucking time. I don't
Listen,
come here at
that's
8:30. I get here
Taco Bell,
fucking
but we'll
earlier.
love
None of
one,
us
you know?
are rich. None of us
motherfucker.
are fucking rolling in money. But let's
We
call
play
it.
games.
We're fucking adults. Our fucking pastime is video games. $700. I can wipe my ass.
When
with.
there's a fucking injustice, you gotta stand up to it.
Especially, hold on, let me finish. I didn't even tell you my answer yet. Especially if I can get $350 and pay 50% of what I was going to pay for in the first place. That's not a bad deal.
accept
My answer right now is no. The reason my answer is no, because A, I don't know what Grand Theft Auto is going to release. I don't know what the specs requirements are going to be for it, and I don't know what Microsoft is going to do. So right now, I am up in arms. I'm not running out to the fucking streets and putting up I want a PS4 5 Pro. I don't want it right now. I don't need it right now. My PlayStation 5 is a dust machine. I barely touch it. The only reason I've touched it recently was to play Madden with you. Other than that, I haven't touched it since I moved from, about 4 or 5 months ago.
PS5
Traded-
is $400.
traded in now.
$400
Traded in
when it
now.
came out. $400.
I told Joe's going to trade in his
and
Xbox.
I can't play,
I know, I get it. No, but
it's just
believe me,
not-
I'm not running out to do it. It's not happening day one. I don't care.
I'm not
about, like-
saying no. My answer's not no,
Thank
but
you.
my answer's
Thank you
not
for
yes.
accepting that.
It's not. It's not.
You're not
These
going to be
people are
able to
so-
get one.
I don't even
I'll
care.
get one. Are you kidding me?
You
My-
are not going to be able
I
to
know-
get one
I
for
got a
months.
guy. I got a guy. I know
My
a guy.
mind is
Got a guy.
100% in the. I want to be ready when GTA 6 comes out. I want the best possible experience.
So does
I
Chris.
don't
He just
give a
doesn't want to
fuck.
admit it.
I love
I don't
GTA more
care.
than anybody, and I don't give a fuck. When there is an injustice and you're selling a system, look, we got a lot of, and there were comments, a lot of love. I was surprised to see a lot of
It's
love
just
for
because
the
it's popular to say
Saucy
that right
nuts.
now.
Damn it, man.
That's the name of the show tonight.
Fucking
Saucy
guys.
Nugs.
Got a lot of comments giving love to the PS3, which I was surprised because the PS3,
Worst system
I
they
think,
ever
was
made.
one of the dark ages for video games and for Sony in general.
the worst system
When
they
the
ever made.
I had a
What's our
PlayStation
next
1.
topic anyway?
We had a PlayStation 1. I had a PlayStation 2.
Sure.
PlayStation 3 came out. It was $600. When you turned it on, the fucking violins would play, and you were some fucking caviar-eating, high-class, fucking highfalutin, silk underwear wearing motherfucker when you turned that on. I couldn't afford that shit. I was a kid. I couldn't afford a $600 fucking system. It felt to me as a kid like a slap in the face.
Yes.
And hey, so I skipped it. And I went with the Xbox 360.
Great
and that's
system.
what got me into Xbox because it was a cheap-ass system. It was $200. You can get the arcade version. It was like $200. I got one. I played Halo. It was awesome. The party system was great. Everybody had it.
Who got you
It
in
was
Halo?
the golden age for fucking for Xbox. Then the Xbox One came out, and they did some stupid fucking shit where it was
same thing
supposed to be a
that fucking
DVR
PlayStation 3
system.
You know,
Hold on. Let me fucking finish my train of thought, motherfuckers. All right, I got a
Just
PS4.
'cause you yell doesn't make you right.
I fucking gotta get some time in here. You guys have been talking the whole time.
Keep yelling.
Fuck, I am yelling because I'm fucking pissed. I've been fucking sitting here choking myself while you guys are fucking talking the finer points or whatever the fuck. I'm just saying, this reminds me of when the PS3 came out and I was priced out of it, and it felt like an insult to me as a gamer. And you could say, oh, you don't have to buy it. But let's be honest with ourselves.
If he
You're
takes the
going
money,
to
we'll
have
fuck
to.
shop.
The games are going to come out. Oh, well, if you got the PS5, it's not as good. You're a fucking
What
pussy.
games? It's 4 years. We still have no fucking games.
I'm just
the games
saying.
The games are coming to Xbox next year.
I think it's healthy that there's blowback. I think everybody's been fucking sucking Sony's dick for the past
Not me.
decade
Not
now.
me.
Maybe not you,
me.
but I've been very team Sony. I've been very, they've made better decisions than Xbox has or
I'll always
fucking Microsoft
defend
has.
the investments I make because I believe that I'm being unbiased. I didn't buy the PS3. I didn't fucking ride the pony. I don't give a fuck.
But do you feel like you
about
got your
any of
investment
that.
out of PS5?
I could agree. I could agree with no, but I would also say that
It was
benefits
$400.
We're downplaying the benefits of having the PS5 because if you had a PS4 Pro, you'd be like fucking jerking off. You'd hate it. You wouldn't even touch the fucking
I'd be
thing.
playing GTA.
I did get a
I'm saying
I did get a
you're not-
PlayStation 3 initially because I needed to play Metal Gear Solid 4. That's the only reason.
Yes.
So my justification. I'm just trying to at least communicate why. It's not even like Sony's with the PS3. They built the cell processor, so they were charging $599 to recoup investments they make. They're getting AMD processors. They're getting AMD GPUs. This is dependent on what the market is. The market, go out and buy a GPU that can play Cyberpunk at full spec.
All right.
It's $699.
All right, let's
just one component. It's crazy.
Let's go.
I
to
will
our,
cede that to you. I will cede
crazy.
that if you were to just get the graphics card in that, it's good. And here's the other thing.
It's relative. The price is relative to what's going on, and then you're arguing 2 points at the same time. I want graphics that exceed expectation, but I want to pay $299.
No,
you got your head up your
No,
ass.
That's not me.
I
I'm saying
already
that-
not you
paid.
guys, I know. It's
I
just
already
some
paid
stuff.
$500 to get what I thought were going to be
Yes,
phenomenal
that's
graphics.
my problem.
That's
My
my
problem
point.
is they lied to us. They set us up.
You lied to me.
Yeah, but you lied to me.
I was never under
Or
any
maybe not lied, but they
disillusion.
misled us.
You didn't
can't
know.
tell.
You didn't. I don't understand because you had PCs before then, and you knew you couldn't run certain games at max spec. You know the difference. You understand.
Sure.
That
But
there
but the allure and the selling point for these
Marketing.
new consoles, marketing of them was ray tracing, 4K at 60 frames. That's what they positioned to us when we
thought there was
pre-ordered
gonna
these
be no
consoles.
compromise. I get
That's
that.
what it was.
I get that.
And it's bullshit.
For $399, I think Sony beat the fuck out of Microsoft for pricing it at the right price. I think $399 was a fair
Well,
price for a next-gen
Microsoft
system.
fucked themselves with the Series S.
Yes. I could.
Stupid. S
If
for
I was Microsoft
stupid.
this week, you know what I would have done? I would have dropped the price of the Xbox by $100. So then they could have bragged about
Well,
how
no,
it still
they
has.
increased the price of the Xbox by putting 2 terabytes in it.
I know, and the
Yeah.
PS5 Pro also has 2 terabytes in it.
Terabytes, yeah.
So it is.
This is a
You're getting
tera.
you're getting a full.
Where the hell are you going?
You're probably
We'll
about
see you in an hour, Rob. Have a
$1,500.
great night.
You're probably getting anywhere, and it's funny because you sent me the Digital Foundry talking to IGN about GTA potentially not running.
Okay,
at
so let's
6.
go there.
So you want to?
Yes or no?
Yes, 100%.
So GTA 6 is going to run 4K at a native 60 frames on a
I don't know about
PlayStation
native.
5 Pro.
Native's a different conversation. Native is a really
Native is
different kind of fucking word. It's a
$700.
different kind of word.
$700 is a
Again-
different kind of fucking budget.
Rockstar always exceeds expectation to the point where you're like, how did they even do that? This shouldn't be possible on the Xbox 360. I remember playing Grand Theft Auto 5 for the first time and saying this shouldn't be
I
possible.
want to see twerking in 4K 60 frames.
This shouldn't be possible.
Am I wrong?
I agree. I think it will hit
They've
it
had a lot of time though,
because to me they are trying to optimize this game and this engine to make sure they hit the ground running. And there's nothing more disappointing than when Starfield came out and it was 30 frames per second.
why I didn't
They
play
had
it.
to spend a year getting it to 60 and optimizing. Guess what?
Just put it out this year.
Guess what? So the Digital Foundry conversation was that the CPU may be bottlenecked because the AI and the simulation running in the
CPUs
background.
and
It had
neural net
nothing to do with
processor.
the graphics, and we were just talking via chat, and I was just firing off real quick. But the one thing they're leaving out is the PSSR abilities, the 10% CPU boost mode that they're putting in for the PS5 Pro. I think that Rockstar has had this thing for probably a year or so, maybe more. It may factor into why the game was pushed to fall 2025. They want to optimize this game. They don't want to make some of the mistakes. Now, will it run 4K 60 locked native? I don't know. I think there will be some. There's got to be trade-offs to be fully.
You know, would it be hilarious if you have a toggle option on GTA 6 when you have a PS5 Pro?
I think the PS5 versions will have a toggle.
I'm saying Pro.
The Pro with a toggle, I could maybe see it, but
Fuck is the
Tough-
point then?
tough
They
to-
just lied to us twice.
well, no, because the game is coming out for multiple consoles. So you brought up the Xbox Series S.
Yes, but
and
will the
they're not gonna.
That's what I'm asking. Is it can not have a toggle, which is what they herald, which is they showed us the first 2 minutes. Hey, we know that a lot of gamers, 75% of you like to do performance
There
mode.
is a
The
pro
PlayStation 5
mode.
Pro allows you to
There's a Pro mode. They
Pro
call
mode. What
it.
are we,
There's an
fucking Apple now?
there's an-
Yeah.
Very much. Sony is
iPhone
you,
Pro,
You can see the
iPad
path.
Pro,
Ha-
PlayStation Pro.
what is Sony's
It's a
reputation? What is Sony's
fucking
reputation?
cash grab.
High-end
High-end cash
electronics.
grab.
High-end electronics.
High-end fucking.
Well, I forgot.
But Xbox
High-
does that
what-
too.
No,
they
they're greedy.
release a fucking another
Microsoft is one of the most
system.
greedy
No,
companies on
Sony's
earth.
way greedier than fucking Microsoft.
I would say that Sony at least puts in the effort to make it look good. Microsoft's kind of cheap on that
I don't
shit.
know if that's
Their designs are
right
usually
now. They
cheap.
are. They were. Sony was benevolent and fucking generous. The PS5 being $400 was very generous.
Yeah, but
now they're
the
getting fucking ballsy.
The
That's
Series
the
X coming out, I could play an Xbox 360 game day one. Still can't do that on PS5.
Say it again. Sorry.
Day one, Xbox Series X, I could play any game in the Xbox catalog history. Day one. Couldn't do that on PS5.
With the
Sony tries to
subscription?
do the
But what they're
PlayStation
doing
Now
with
or
the
whatever.
game,
the
all right, well, I don't want
shitty
to
streaming
devolve
service.
into that.
Backwards compatibility conversation.
Well, I'll have you know, Vin, that at least
I don't care what
Anbu-
anybody says. I've read the whole fucking internet. All
I'm saying is
fucking
people
week.
agreeing with you. You have Ambu and Phil are both agreeing with you in the comments here.
So they
Because
agree that it's
they
gonna
love
run-
being milked by Sony. Apparently, Phil, do you feel like you got the full value out of your PS5? Do you
Put
being
300
honest-
hours into fucking Final Fantasy. He fucking definitely
Okay.
would feel like
So
he got his money's
That's
worth.
a question. So maybe you do. I put plenty of
You
hours
still
onto my
play games from
PS5,
7 years ago.
but I play some new
10.
games here and
He
there.
never did play. He never
Play
he
out,
never
play
even-
out. Bring me
never
a
even
fucking
like,
game
hey,
that I
let's
want to
play
play
this.
that's new.
But you don't like games on rails. You don't like games that are boring or
I got
repetitive.
standards.
Zelda.
I got
bro.
standards.
So what?
Standards, you don't like Zelda.
Well, I bought Zelda. I just never fucking played it because it's fucking doesn't compare graphically.
That's
to
all right.
anything
So you
that's
do
out
like
right now.
wasting money.
That's a really good
It
point.
was
that
a
you
waste
say
of
that.
money, and I don't like it. I'm mad about it. That's
So
why I have to be more
Selective?
fucking selective with what I spend my money on nowadays. And to me, there's nothing that I just don't see. I'm one of the people that says nope, not gonna get it. Not getting a PS5 Pro. I don't know. I don't care if anybody believes me or not.
There's
It's
a lot of
fucking
things on this show
bullshit.
that you said you wouldn't do, you
That
wouldn't
they
get.
don't.
Yeah, and then you motherfuckers whittle me down, put me on the fucking cross.
I just know the truth.
Fucking Pontius Pilate
just know-
motherfuckers
we've seen-
selling me out for
Cross,
7
We've
pieces of
seen
silver.
one teaser trailer.
Am I wrong?
To GTA. We haven't even started the marketing campaign.
GTA came
and
out
the
on
hype.
Xbox 360. There was nothing on PS4. They upgraded it for PS5 then too.
What? What do you mean? Like there were no
GTA
games?
was originally on the PS3 era. It went to PS4 and PS5. My mindset is Rockstar should make a game that's playable on the PS5. They totally skipped the PS4. It should be playable on base PS5, no problem. It should
is.
look
It will
great.
be.
And that's
It'll
what
look
I'm saying.
awesome.
Exactly. I don't care about the negligible difference to a PS5 Pro.
You
Not spending the 300.
You just talked
fucking-
about caviar, you asshole. You just talked about
And if I'm gonna eat
$2,000
caviar, I'm
on
eating
a
it off my
fucking
PC.
computer
I'm
to
not-
play Minecraft. What do you? I don't understand.
So I
It's
already
a
have a
cognitive-
PC that I spent money
your brain
on.
is doing this.
How does that not make sense
You're
to
just
you?
being
I
stubborn.
already spent my money on a PC. If I want that experience, I'll play it on there because it's going to be better.
GTA
I'm not going
6 will be in
Well,
6,
then I
7
should play
years.
GTA 6
in like
on
6 years. Yes, you should wait 6 years to play it at its absolute pinnacle when it comes out on PC. That you're going to need I don't even
6
want to
years.
know.
Take 6 months after the
1,000
console
more?
release.
6 months of PC? No way. It takes at least 18 months. It's going to be 2 years
A
before.
year and a half until it's on PC.
Absolutely. I don't even remember what
it's that long.
I don't
I
even
think
know what
it's
the
like-
difference. I don't even remember between Red Dead Redemption and Red Dead 2 on PS4 and on PC. If you look that up, that'll probably tell you. But I'm just saying.
I
I'm
heard it was
just
going to be
not-
6 months.
Again, I'm not even like, oh, it's a good move. It's annoying because it hits a price point that really makes you kind of go. $599 would have sounded sweet. I would have taken the system with a 1 terabyte hard drive if they could drop it $100. I think that would have been good. They put a 2 terabyte in there.
It's another
and
thing
they
I'll
hit a
see.
price point
The 2
that
terabyte
really
is
You
makes-
also
significant.
don't realize what that.
How many people buy iPhone Pro models versus standard? Do you?
I mean,
Yeah,
iPhone
everybody.
Pro
Why?
sells more
Because it's the better one.
so that,
Exactly. You feel obligated to buy the better one and spend more fucking
so
money.
I'm just
thought-
making my. I'm
I
not
thought
even-
about that analogy, and I thought about the fact that Apple releases a slightly, and I do mean fucking slightly, cunter, better phone. I don't work anymore. Fuck them.
No.
Yeah, you're wearing a shirt that says "cunt."
Whoa, CNT baby.
Yeah,
It's
that's
all,
right.
You know.
Yeah, country music station, whatever. So they, it's not a accurate analogy because your phone, you touch more than you do anything else in your life.
I always justified it that way. Yes.
And your phone does like so much more than a gaming system. You take photos with it. You have navigation. You have text, everything.
Multi-device.
Yeah. So
I get
that's not. I get it. I get it.
Can
I get it.
a base model iPhone do the same as the Pro?
Like what? What do you want it to do?
I'm just saying all the things you just said. Can a
You
regular?
can take a photo, you can do text messages, do everything.
Okay.
Yeah.
So why are you buying the Pro though?
Because you feel fucking pressured and obligated to, because you don't want to be fucking
Because
poor.
people like
Well, you're asking me. That's going to be a technical question. I want the faster screen.
like
I want
better
the
battery. You want the
ProMotion
steel
display.
instead of the
I want better
aluminum.
battery life. I want I want the stainless steel. I want the triple lens camera. I want the
Sounds
I
like
want
a
the 4K 60 video recorder. I want
Gotcha.
all the bells and whistles. We
I
work
agree.
there. We know the deal.
Oh, yeah.
I don't have to fucking go over like.
I'm just trying to make you say
Yeah,
those things out loud.
I didn't say that I didn't want a PlayStation 5 Pro. I said let me see what the other competition is going to do, and let me see. Like I'm not interested in getting a PS5 Pro to play my current PlayStation 5 games upscaled, slightly better, more ray tracing. That doesn't justify $700 for me. If you're telling me that Wolverine's going to look fucking incredible and play incredible on a PS5 Pro, I'm in. If you're telling me Grand Theft Auto 6 is going to be the best experience that you can get only on PS5 Pro and not on a new Xbox or whatever it's going to be, I'm in. But if you're telling me, oh, you could play Gran Turismo or Spider-Man, no, I don't give a fuck. I'm not giving you more money to do what you told me it was supposed to do in the first fucking place.
I get that. Totally agree. Again, I would have for the PR of it all. I think.
Wow, Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns about to have a
and
segment. Sorry.
Also, we glanced over it, but Cody was backstage and he said, "I'm done with the bloodline." He said, "They're Roman's problem. I don't want to deal with these guys anymore. I beat them." So just pointing that out.
I beat him. I'm fucking done.
It's I don't know.
I'm
To
done.
me, it's just
Fucking internet.
the internet sucks today. It's just too bold and brazen, I think, and in your face.
All right,
I mean,
well-
hey, you know what Xbox or
You did
or
call it.
what Microsoft
You
can do
did
to
call
fuck
it
all
like
of this
you-
up?
I think maybe 4 or 5 months ago when you went off and on a tangent.
Well, because we brought it up because they said, "Oh, PlayStation 5 is halfway through its life cycle." What the fuck are you talking about? We've been
4
waiting
years.
here. 4
This is-
years of
this
nothing.
is later than the PS4 Pro coming out. The PS4 Pro came out 3 years after
Only
the fucking
problem is
PS4.
the
That-
pandemic
it still
like,
means
felt
nothing
like
to me.
forever.
Yeah, everything got delayed. We
What do
got
you mean it means that when you are they didn't just like run into a room the week before they announced it and we're like, you know what, we should do a PS4 Pro. We should.
No,
do
I
something."
fucking think
It's
they
a
were in a
roadmap.
room
It's
fucking
a
snorting coke
it's
and
a-
fucking saying, "How can we
it-
fuck these cocksuckers and milk them for more money?" That's
There's
what
a-
I think they were doing.
there's a-
They were probably doing fucking a
They
line
don't
of blow.
make money on this console sales.
That's
There's
bullshit.
a complete.
They
No,
have a
they
business
don't.
model that they make money.
No,
they
they
find a
don't.
way to get so they're operating at a loss. They're not getting any profit from
After the-
fucking being Sony.
It takes at least a year for the consoles to even.
we
So
still
it takes
on? Are we
time,
still
but
on?
they still fucking. Yeah, we're good. We lost connection to our TV.
lost the Wi-Fi.
Don't care. It takes the money. They're not fucking paupers with fucking their little bowls out begging for coin.
Are you a communist? Are you anti-capitalism?
Are you a nihilist, dude?
You know the answer to that. I won't.
I'm just saying, like, I don't.
He's gonna go off now. He's twitching.
No, I'm not. I'm not going to
let him-
respond
let
to
him-
that because
let him-
that's a
I
bait
know that-
question. Of
exactly,
course, I'm not.
Exactly.
You know, I'm
busting
not
chops.
taking the bait
I'm
with that.
busting chops. I've just seen so much. I'm reactionary right now because I've just seen so much just throughout the week.
There's a reason.
where I'm like, there is a reason behind why this thing costs what it costs, and the expectations that we have for 4K fucking native 60 frame per second.
Again,
requires
my whole
hardware.
thing is they told me that this hardware
Sold us a bill of
could do it.
goods, and then they fucking didn't deliver any of the fucking
The
goddamn.
person I want to hear from when it comes to did you get your money's worth when it comes to the PS5 is my cousin Joe.
I feel like it's like,
To me,
okay,
he's the best example
What
I
does
have.
what does he say about this Pro system? He wants it.
Oh man, he's
of course
I kind of sold him because he doesn't play his Xbox, so he's going to trade that in for $375.
Here's a good
and
comparison.
His PS4.
So he'll get it for
Here's a
free.
good
He'll get it for
comparison,
free.
all right?
It's an even trade.
Imagine you get a nice premium gun. You waited forever to get this gun. This gun's fucking awesome, but there's never any bullets.
This is my rifle.
You got no bullets to shoot. You got an awesome gun, no bullets. Now, hey, there's a better gun. It could shoot the bullets even faster. The bullets will fucking,
Curve.
Everything is better. Yeah, everything's better. I still
Terrible.
don't have any fucking
Terrible
bullets
analogy.
to
The iPhone
shoot.
analogy is the best analogy.
Two
there is.
gunmen.
There's no fucking that. You need more shit on the PS5. We deserved more. We did not get our money's worth, in my opinion.
I'm gonna have to agree with Chris on that.
I
one.
100% agree that we definitely need more better games that are impressive. We're getting a lot of remakes. We're getting a lot of rehash. We're getting the
Yes.
little bumps. Silent Hill's coming out. That's just a remake. You know, Metal Gear's coming
Oh,
out.
it's
That's
not a new
remake.
one. I thought it's gonna be a new story.
Silent Hill, I think
it's
it's
just a
2
remaster
remake.
of 2. Yeah.
So, excited to play them. Going to be a lot of fun. Can't wait to play Metal Gear. There still hasn't. We haven't.
Whoops.
What game? All right, maybe here's a question. What game in your mind stands out the most across any generation where you turned it on and you were just like, holy shit? The game
GTA
has
4.
changed.
GTA 4.
GTA
When
4 is a
that
fair
game,
one.
for many reasons.
Anything Rockstar qualifies.
Yeah, I mean, Red Dead also would.
I'm just curious, like in your childhood when
It's gonna sound weird, but the first time I put on Turbo Graphics and played Bonk's Adventures,
oh shit, TurboGrafx you played?
I had all three. I had
I-
Sega Genesis, Super Nintendo, and Turbo Graphics as a kid.
That's so funny.
But when you put on Turbo Graphics, it almost felt like I had an arcade in my household, because this is back before, like, if you played like Mortal Kombat or Street Fighter, for example, on your Super Nintendo or Sega Genesis. When I was dead broke, man, I couldn't picture this. It still didn't look as good as when you went to the arcade.
right.
But for some reason, Turbo Graphics, still 16-bit, the games just had a different like color palette, and they just popped off the screen.
Can I tell you kind of why that was?
That was my first thought when you asked that question, but I have other thoughts about that too. But
Mortal Kombat, funny enough, was done with sprites. It was
Yeah.
done with mocap sprites. So you
Yeah.
were seeing like a person do those things versus
It was like a
an
video.
actual built.
for me, the answer to your question is Gears of War on Xbox 360.
Oh, that's a good one. That is a good one.
Now
What is
I
cra-
was like, wow, this is unlike anything I've ever seen before.
Yeah, the character models on that game are
you hear
really
this
fucking
kid?
great, right? You know, the
said
fucking
Yes.
They look like
Great.
fucking refrigerators with legs.
Yes.
Their fucking
Awesome.
character models
Amazing.
on Gears of War are awful.
Detailed,
Badass.
bump maps.
It looked like fucking
incredible.
Batista fell into the
Chainsaw,
Unreal Engine
blood.
and fucking turned into a
Stop,
goddamn
stop.
refrigerator.
Didn't even like Gears of War.
Gears
So
of War
come on.
sucks. It's
So much fun.
You guys
You gotta
are,
stop.
they put a chainsaw on a
Some
gun.
of the best,
Whoa!
some of the
You
best
gotta
co-op
stop.
multiplayer.
He convinces himself of something for so long
Right.
that he has to continue
That's
it for the
horseshit.
rest of his life.
I am agreeing
You
with
gotta
the
stop.
with the common thread right now.
You've got-
I am what all the regular fucking peons out there are saying.
The peons?
I am agreeing with. You guys are the contrarians, not me.
I'm just
In this
saying
fucking-
that.
Well, no, you're not.
I'm just saying that,
Contrarian at all.
As far as the PlayStation
gotta
goes,
lighten
you
up,
are.
dude.
You're the only one that's fucking defending this bullshit. And
I am
Phil,
not
I
even
guess.
defending. I'm trying to
defending.
give you a real picture and understanding of why this would be this much, or why we're faced with this dilemma. Let's say they're not gonna fucking come out with this console at $499 when it can compete with a $1499 $2,000 PC. It's
They
just
were
not
able
possible.
to everything scales with the times. When the PS5 came out, it was all cutting edge shit, and it was $400.
I mean, if you look at I think it was 2 weeks ago, I said that it would be a minimum of 600, and I said most likely 700. I did.
I think you called that,
I
yeah.
did say that.
Based on the pricing, based on
600
the
would have been
market,
fair, but hey, I will
So
agree too. The hard drive being 2 terabyte is also. I'll see that.
It's
Because if you get a computer and you jump from a 1 terabyte to a 2 terabyte
Here's
solid
the
state
thing
drive,
that-
you're
here-
talking about like $200.
Yeah, but here's
more.
the thing
So
that
I get it
we're
to
not
a degree.
realizing that NBA 2K 25 takes up like 300 fucking goddamn gigabytes. We don't know how much space Grand Theft Auto 6 is going to take, especially when you take that and then they release online with it. It could take a fucking terabyte. So you don't realize like
Rockstar,
you're gonna be pushing 700 to 800 fucking gigabytes just to play Grand Theft Auto 6. So you're going to need those 2 terabytes and then another fucking terabyte on top of that.
Still, no, you're going to need more of that for Call of Duty than you are going to need for
true.
I'm just telling you.
Rockstar's probably
Grand Theft Auto is going to be a high fucking gigabyte fucking
300 to 500 off the top of my head. 3 to 500.
We're not even breaking a sweat.
Rockstar is one of the most efficient developers out there. They optimize the best. They've always
They're
done
nothing like Call of Duty.
They don't come out with games every year.
NBA 2K is the worst.
You can't compare a company that launches games every fucking year and doesn't give a shit. Madden, 2K, Call of Duty. They don't care. They don't even give a fuck because they don't work on it long enough for it to get good. But we've been waiting on this game for fucking 10 years. So yeah, I would say I agree with you. Yes, the games are taking up crazy space. I'm happy that the 2 terabytes that I installed in my current PS5 will be able to go over to that. So I will have a 4 terabyte fucking system, which would be nice. But
that's nice.
I get the sticker shock, but I think
It's
in
not
terms
sticker
of
shock
value,
for me. It's a lie.
No, but for what people
Most
are
people
what people are
complaining
putting
about
out,
sticker
it's
shock.
$6.99, and I just think based on the value you're getting, and the guy who did the IGN interview talking about the GTA potentially not running at 4K 60, said this is a good value. If you had to get the same spec in a PC, you'd be paying $1,500 plus. So if you the experts or whatever, the people that know the best, I would say if you want premium gaming, comfortable on your LG, it's fine, especially if you're trading in. If you're jumping in, and I don't expect a lot of people who are PS4 players to jump to a PS4 Pro.
Well, if they didn't go to PS5 for $400, why would they go to PlayStation
That's
Pro
my
for
point.
$700?
But I do think overall it does grow the base based on what I said before. I think in terms of what the company's doing, it makes sense. And unfortunately, this is partially Microsoft's fault.
All right, so next question, since you brought up the M word, what's Microsoft's counter to this?
Oh, that's what I wanted to say. Here's how Microsoft could fuck everything up for themselves. They come out with a system that costs the same or more. That's the only thing they could do to make anyone feel better about this. Because then people will cut Sony flack to be like, oh, well, Microsoft's doing it too. So
Microsoft has always undercut
and
Sony
everybody
in
loses.
terms of price every single time.
We've always seen the back and forth.
Not with the one. The one was
Xbox was $299, but you were getting the LAN built in. You were getting a hard drive built in. I think the value was there with Xbox, the original Xbox.
That's true.
I did not feel. I think I even traded my. I think GameStop and I think GameStop was paying Electronics Boutique to incentivize trade-ins because it was a year later, and there was always such a huge install base of.
That also
PS2
was
games.
like a big shock when I saw like Halo 1, Ninja Gaiden on Xbox. Those were like, oh fuck, this looks better than anything on PS2 or GameCube.
Halo 1
Halo
was
3.
Halo 1 was the game.
Halo 3 was a shocker for me.
To answer the
We're talking about like your first, like, oh wow, because
I couldn't believe it.
The load times in
open world feel, lighting, the lights coming off the Warthog. Bro, that was playing with your friends, changing of day, night, the glow of the fucking plasma. I was like, is this real? I had to trade in my PlayStation. I had to. Within the week or two, I was like, I have to have this. I gave up Grand Theft Auto. There was no Grand Theft Auto on that system for like 2 fucking years. I gave it up. I literally was like, nope.
Crazy.
That's how good it was. And the Xbox 360 was equally great. It was a fucking fantastic fucking system. And Microsoft made the ultimate mistake with the Xbox One because it was at the worst time because I went to PS4.
But if you look at it,
because of how bad Xbox One was.
In hindsight,
I didn't want to fucking try.
But in hindsight, everything they positioned Xbox One to have, it's what we use our consoles now for anyway. They're entertainment hubs.
No, they position the Xbox One as a TV companion that you could
pass
run your
through
fucking
HDMI
cable box through.
Yeah,
But it never worked well at all because you could only watch it on the
He had
fucking
it.
side of your screen. And there was a whole bar on the side of the
I
screen,
remember.
but only the top right corner was taken up by the
I got the
actual
launch
picture.
Xbox One with the Kinect too. Do you remember?
Yeah, the Xbox Connect. That was supposed to be the big thing.
bomb.
Xbox One, they tried to do too much weird shit that gamers didn't want,
And it was
then
the worst
they took it away from you.
They tried
that
to
was the worst part.
capitalize on like the Wii the success of the
They
Wii.
follow.
And
They follow a little too much. They have a
that was,
habit of following.
They're still trying to recover from that, and
It's impossible.
It's
you know
like
why?
they recover a bit, and then they fuck up again.
Listen, you know why it's impossible to recover technically? Because of the fucking exact reason I brought up before. How many games have you bought on physical disc versus digital library? The entire PS4 life cycle was digital, and you built these libraries with thousands of dollars of games. I am reluctant to give that up. I am reluctant. Xbox would have to. Would I? Would
I can play any of those games I bought on Xbox One on my Series X.
Oh no! I'm saying I was
Can't
building
play
a
PS4
PS4 library.
Oh,
I was building a multi-$1,000 library.
for you to convert over to an Xbox would be like losing all that.
Suicide. It would be like, oh, there goes.
That's how I feel about moving over to PlayStation 5.
It's
exactly how I feel.
Now it's more sticky, you know, in the same vein of
The only
Apple,
reason I got it
Samsung.
was for the exclusives that you can't play on Xbox. That's really it.
Right. So it for Microsoft, it was at the worst fucking time. But to your question, you asked, like, what do they do now? What could they do? They could launch their Pro system based on what everybody's saying. Maybe it's slightly less powerful, or it has slightly less storage. It includes a disk drive. They launch it at $499. They get rid of the S.
$5.99 even.
Get rid of the S completely. Kill the S in public on stage. Bring it on stage with a shotgun and fucking shoot it because it killed this generation for them.
Yeah.
All the advantages you've laid out for me many times and we've discussed are hindered by that system. It doesn't matter how fucking powerful that one is. The S hinders game developers from optimizing the games to be as good as they can be because they have to make it work on that little piece of shit. Get rid of it.
Which is what they're going to say about the PS5 eventually.
And also drop the price of the Series X, the existing X. Bring that down to, what, $299 or $399? So there's parity between a PS5 and a fucking Xbox. Then you're competitive. Give them a year of fucking Game Pass.
Is that something that they do in November, or are they going to wait till next spring?
They should have done it this week. I mean, launching the new model, no, but I just mean...
Do you think Xbox will come out with another system this year?
Based on how fast information travels and how fast we go through this shit, no one's going to care about this PS5 shit in a week, right? This was the week to go full-blown marketing campaign, price drops, deals, Game Pass deals. They should be they should be giving so much shit to Sony on Twitter, on like the social media wars. Bring back the war. Bring back the poking prod. No, what did they do this week? They fired 650 fucking people. The worst fucking move, the dumbest thing you could do in this moment when Sony's on the ropes technically. There's an opportunity to maybe get in there. I think they need to fire Phil Spencer. I think he's fucked up enough. I understand that he has a ton of credibility. And he's like kind of that guy you can relate to. He seems like, oh yeah, he's like me. He plays games.
He's very good
He
at
has
admitting
fumbled
mistakes.
Riding around in his Lambo.
Oh, he has really fumbled this. And I don't know if it's his fault specifically, but it's unforgivable what they've done with Halo. It's like so... There are so many different franchises that, luckily, with the latest show, they did get back to basics and Pillar Games and Fable. And
we'll see. Gears of War.
Launch
Perfect
those.
Dark.
Make sure those come out in the next year.
Come out and made well.
Right. Don't rush it. Don't. I hate when they. That's another problem I have. Stop announcing these fucking games 4 years in advance. Give me 18 months. Make smaller games. I have a 3-week window. For me personally, I have about 2-3 weeks with like single-player games. I don't platinum a lot of stuff. I really don't go for that. I got a 2-3 week window where I can't wait to get home and play, and I can dedicate that time. And people will give me that space to like do that. Girlfriend, everybody, you know, I can't wait. I'll get fast food on the way home, and you know, Final Fantasy, whatever. Like I'll really hone in. But after about 3 weeks, I don't have it anymore. Something caught my attention. Maybe I want to watch a new show. We're just constantly bombarded with entertainment. I just want smaller games faster. We talked about smaller dev teams. Give me a game mechanic I haven't seen ever. Time Splitters was another game.
Expectations
I haven't
are too
seen
high.
a game like
Red Faction.
Right. There were Prey. Prey was a fucking
Where
crazy.
the fuck is Half-Life 3?
Oh God, Valve is just they don't give a shit. I don't know why we don't have Half-Life. Smaller games, shorter dev cycles. Don't announce them fucking 4 years in advance, please.
That sounds practical, but I just don't think that it's possible because of how gamers are nowadays and their expectations are so high, where I feel like if you make a smaller game, there's going to be this unwarranted.
I kind of like that
outrage
sentiment
over it.
though, because that's what we're missing in the last two generations.
agree.
Like one of the topics I wanted to talk about tonight was, since we're on a topic of like Sony, what is your favorite Sony console of all time? PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4.
We need
PlayStation
Roberto. Who is this guy?
He's taking a shit. He'll be there now, or he'll be there in
We
an
gotta
hour.
wait for him though. We need to.
So the one thing that I'll say, like, my answer is easy, and it's by far PlayStation 2. The reason it's PlayStation 2 is because you had all these first-party games like Ico, like Guardians. What was the Guardian game with the giant fucking beast that you would fight? The Last Guardian.
Right.
And then you had like Mark of Kree, which was an amazing game. Mark of Kree was like the first game that would do combat like Batman Arkham Asylum.
Oh, right. Fast combo.
But it was a small developed game, and it was just amazing. Like
Devil May Cry.
Oof. Like these games
Fun.
started up like small
Gear
based Onimusha,
Yeah.
all these
Tenchu.
SOCOM, Tenchu,
Most of the
Stealth
Grand Theft
Assassins.
Auto games that are beloved, you
GTA.
GTA 3,
GTA 3 was a
GTA,
big production,
Vice
though.
City.
Like,
Vice
that
City,
wasn't a
and
small-
San Andreas.
That wasn't a small game that could come out, but they did come out like a couple of years later with Vice City and then San Andreas. So we did get games at a faster rate, and they weren't as high production. The problem now is everything's so fucking expensive. Production, paying people,
4K,
marketing,
60 frames per
doing all this shit. Like, they want banking on their investment. They're not going to invest all this amount of money to develop something and have it come out like the Borderlands movie.
They
where
want Hollywood
it just
movies.
fucking
Shadow of
tanked.
Colossus.
They want
good call, guys.
Hollywood return.
Yeah,
They
but
wanna
look,
invest
Borderlands made $30 million and it cost $150 to make.
Right. That's a great.
They don't want that. That will bankrupt an entire fucking publisher.
I agree. I played.
That's why you're not getting these smaller production games, and you're
There's-
waiting for big budget re-releases or remake or rehashes or sequels or prequels. They want established IP.
pussies. They're soft. It's just like the movie industry. They're too scared to be creative or allow creativity. They really only invest in what they know is
we are fucked in terms of creativity, in terms of like new IPs and new good IPs. They're not happening anymore.
I played a good small game. Phil, I forgot if he turned me on to it or Kena Bridge of Spirits. Fantastic small game, incredible design.
I should play
excellent.
Ori, Winds of the West.
Ori's another one that's really fucking cool. Kena is third person combat. You know, it's like she got a stick and a bow and arrow.
Yeah.
It's the most almost Nintendo-esque game for PlayStation. It's very small. It's a short game. Probably take you 20, 30 hours. I don't know.
Should get that new Ninja Turtle game that's coming out.
That does look fun. I saw the trailer today. So I feel like there's small little opportunities to do this, but you know what really fucked the game industry? Chris should like this. You know what really fucked up everything, I think? And it's obvious now looking in hindsight because of like how gaming's changed over
Call of
these years.
Duty and Assassin's Creed when
Fortnite.
they became yearly games. Oh,
Fortnite destroyed everything about games for now because
Became
every
in-game
single
purchases.
fucking game company chased that fucking like weasel. This season pass, this perpetual online battle royale. Everyone wanted
Funko Pop of video games.
right games as a service with partnerships, right? So now everything needed Sony, their previous
Guest characters.
previous CEO
From different licenses.
Forgot the guy's name, something Ryan.
Yeah, Ryan.
He got fired
Jack Ryan.
because he fucking pivoted the entire company away from The Last of Us multiplayer, a bunch of games that were allegedly in development.
First
that's
party
selling,
quality
that
games.
I
allegedly
was so
Bungie,
looking forward to that.
allegedly Bungie like butted in and had an opinion about how The Last of Us wouldn't be successful because it didn't have a sustained fucking revenue. What the fuck is that? Why
the mail
can't
got laid
I'll
off
pay
anyway.
$30 for Last of Us online, have a ball with you guys for fucking 6-8 months, and then we'll fucking move on.
Where's the next Uncharted game? Like, why haven't they seen it? It's PlayStation 5 4 years, and we're going into a mid-console fucking cycle. Where's their big fucking franchises?
Naughty
Where's
Dog.
Uncharted? Where's Resistance?
Again-
Where's Killzone?
Right.
Where's SOCOM?
Right.
Where's fucking goddamn all these other fucking Twisted Metal? Like, all these Sony fucking branded fucking games, Siphon Filter. Like, where are all these fucking licenses? Where
agree.
are they?
And then I could pull up an article that like
Where's Sly Cooper and the Thievius Raccoonus?
The head
Where are
of-
all these fucking games?
I think the head of Sony came out and some executive said, "Oh, like we don't have enough IP." And I was like, "Bro, you should shut the fuck up. You should look. All you got to do is look at that list of what you just said and go, "Oh, we need one of those." Twisted Metal Online? That's a gimme. That's a gimme. That's a free to play You mix in some fun fucking combat vehicles. We have a few laughs about it, and then you move on like 3 months later. I think the Fortnite sustained revenue, season pass bullshit fucked up the game industry for at least 4 years, mixing all the other bullshit too, whatever excuse you want. But I think the business model changed, and it fucked up the development cycles that we were looking forward to. And that's what you need someone to fail. Xbox needs to fail a little, or Sony, hopefully maybe the PS5 Pro just flops. And then maybe they readjust and maybe they recalibrate, but it doesn't look like that's what's going to happen.
Should be focusing on games and their IP, not fucking putting out a system that could run these.
That's built in. That's a roadmap thing. The hardware guys are working on the PS6 right fucking now against your hopes and dreams that they're not going to do it.
So that leaves us to like the final.
Well, we didn't say our favorite systems.
Well, yeah, I want to finish with that, but I want to kind of just circle back to like, are we, yes or no, getting a new Xbox system this year?
Feels like a no.
Okay. Last question on that, since we talked about Sony, Microsoft. Are we going to, at the very least, get an announcement of a Nintendo Switch 2?
Yes.
This year?
Oh, no. I don't.
For the holidays?
I don't know.
Announcement by the end of the year. Is yes or no?
So if they did it, it would launch in the spring?
Spring, summer?
I don't see the point if it's not going to come out before Christmas.
Right.
Then why?
We're in the final phase of the year.
So yeah, we're on the last quarter, so they're going to want to ramp up marketing to sell you on holiday.
Unless it's like a super short notice, like, hey, next
Well,
generation.
that's what I'm saying. Like, are they willing to kind of fall behind? Because now you're like, the topic that we spent majority of our night on here is Sony and PlayStation 5. So we haven't even like scratched the surface on like Nintendo. Like they're kind of out of sight, out of mind right now. So I don't know.
I think Sony is just on their own. Sorry, Jesus.
Nintendo's on their own.
Nintendo's
like,
on their own
timeline.
clock. They're on their own timeline. I appreciate Nintendo for this. We talk a lot about 4K, 60 frames per second. Does that bring the level of immersion that a good video game?
Well, you're asking the wrong person. He doesn't play Zelda.
Is that the one thing?
This guy's complaining about
is
graphics.
4K 60 frames per second?
You're talking to a graphics horse sitting next to you. He won't.
Minecraft guy.
I'm okay with games with. And Nintendo does not compare graphically to anything, and they haven't for a long time.
So here's
if you want a game for kids, a system for kids, then Nintendo's great.
It's not for kids. There's no kids that
There's
can play.
no legitimate, realistic-looking war game that you could play on Nintendo.
A 5-year-old kid cannot beat Tears of the Kingdom.
Tears of the Kingdom is by far one of the. That's a game that you look at and go, I
Now
can't
just
believe
imagine
this
it.
is running on this.
Imagine it was in 4K with phenomenal graphics and hyper realistic.
That's my one problem with Nintendo is like they always don't do and stay on par with these. Here's the thing though. Like I said this the other day at work. I was like, what if, and humor me, what if Nintendo came out with the most powerful console on top of having the best home library?
I'd love that. I think that
games,
would be hilarious.
Games. Like, could you imagine they would obliterate the competition? My thought process is, why haven't they at least tried that once?
Because they don't make games that need that. Their games have never been.
But they could.
They could.
But they could.
But I think they just
a hyper realistic Zelda that looks like an Elder Scrolls, and I mean they could go like really into the depths of.
I don't want to see Link real. I want to see Pixar level Zelda.
Either way,
you know what I mean?
Either way,
I want to see like
regardless.
The
they could do worlds that you wouldn't like, unbelievable
scale, size. That's
and the amount of innovation Nintendo does put into each console release. Like if you look how much the Nintendo 64 innovated with first-person, thumbstick. That's the first time we had an analog stick on a console. And Mario 64, which is funny that I actually am playing. I just finished Mario 64 on my Switch.
Oh,
I got all
dead in the
100.
middle.
I got all 120 stars.
Damn.
I completed it.
Holy shit! I have 30, but damn.
Yeah.
Great quote from Phil. He said, "Limiting your resources forces creativity and ingenuity and artistry."
Definitely. That's why we got some of the best games.
I think they know that. I think that they kind of know like we're never going to be able to compete on that graphic superiority level. So we're going to focus on making a different kind of game that mostly appeals to kids or the children.
You know what?
that are
You know what
young
pulled
people.
me in? I say the word immersion a lot. I feel like I say that word when it comes to video games because I don't think graphics necessarily leads to immersion.
It helps.
It helps. Gran Turismo and Race Forza. There's certain games where graphics help with immersion. But to me, the one thing that drew me in with the Switch was when I parasailed off the first part, landed by a tree, saw the tree. There was apples in the tree. I ran up to the tree, picked up the stick, I whacked the tree, and the apples fell. And I was like, oh, that was cool. Then I went over. There was like a torch. I went over to the little campfire, and when I put the torch near the campfire, the stick lit on fire. To me, that's immersion. There's just something to that. There's a surprise and delight. You expect it to happen, but in a lot of games, it does not happen. A lot of games don't go through the painstaking detail to make sure the physics work properly where that would actually work.
Horses' testicles shrunk.
Horse balls and Red Dead.
Red Dead
But-
Redemption. That's detail.
One of the problems that
obsession.
Nintendo has, it's a
It's
pitfall of
obsession.
Nintendo games, is that they're still doing this shit that they were doing since the Nintendo 64, where like Animal Crossing, where it's like if you want to cook fucking 10 meals, you got to cook them one at a time, and every time, duck, 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 woohoo! Here's read the menu. I just cooked something. Whoopee! You're just mashing the button to get through menu. Okay, cook. Make the next one.
Pokemon,
Duck, duck, duck,
all
duck.
that.
Woohoo!
Constant.
Read. Waha! Congrats! You have to do it over and over again. There's so much stopping and reading and fucking. It takes me out of the game sometimes where I'm playing these games and I'm like, just fucking cook 10 at a time. Why do I have to read every time? Whoopee! I caught a fucking sea bass. After the 700th sea bass, I don't need to fucking read it anymore. I got the point. Just show me the animation, speed things up a little bit. And that's one thing that drives me nuts about Nintendo games is they still do that shit to this day. And I like a little bit of reading in games. I think that's good for like kids.
Yes.
I think Nintendo 64 did more to make literate kids than fucking anything at that time.
Absolutely.
Because all the Mario games, you're reading what they're saying to you. And I kind of miss when you had to read what they were saying and now everything's voice lines. But then again, Nintendo games still don't really have any voice narration or acting. It's usually
Zelda does not speak.
"Meh," and then you're reading what they're saying, and they just
Link
stop,
does not
"Meh,"
speak.
and they go, oh, yeah, Link doesn't talk.
Link
Exactly.
does
You
not
just
speak.
hear, and they still do
you
that.
You are Link. They have a reason behind it, but yeah, it's
They
definitely
always
weird.
have a fucking reason behind it, but you know,
Well, usually,
you're
again,
Mario, and I guess you're everybody else
To
too.
Phil's point, the limitations because you can't do all the lines of dialogue. It takes up memory. It takes up space.
It,
Takes up time
it
to
also
develop.
allows you to develop faster because you don't got to pay all these fucking voice actors to voice these games, and you can really
Rockstar
you can
really
really
hated it.
focus and hone in on just making a quality gameplay experience.
Right.
Where Rockstar to a point is more like watching a live action Pulp Fiction. It's a cinematic experience as well as putting you into this outstanding immersive open world. But
Would you pay $4.99 for a premium Switch Nintendo system?
Not
It's
wait,
hand-
you're
it's
saying not
handheld
the
great.
next generation, but just an upgrade to Nintendo
I mean,
Switch.
how-
No, like
what
a
are we-
next gen
what are
console.
we-
The next
I'm
version.
talking like a Switch that you could dock and it's 4K 60 on OLED. How much would you pay? Would you pay $4.99?
yeah, but what am I? How is it going to be on par with a PlayStation 5? Is it going to be less, more, like slightly? Like where am I?
Cost? Well, that's the thing. Cost and the price.
Because you can't charge me $500 and it doesn't even match the PS5 or Xbox Series X, because those were $500.
Right.
So you
So
can't
Why is
charge
it?
me
Why
that.
is
So
it
that
$500 if it cannot? If
that-
it doesn't have the graphics processor?
You can't charge me that.
That
I
exact
won't pay
answer
that.
is why Nintendo will not do it. That they know
They
that.
just don't think their audience is going to pay $500.
I think that
They
because
like that
of how much
$300
it
and
costs,
$350 price tag.
I think because, to your point, Sony misled on what the graphics capability of a PS5 was. Nintendo doesn't want to get stuck in that little game. They know how intense 4K 60 is. They know the demands. And they're like, we can't do it in a way where we can get parents to buy this for their kids.
I got a great
So we're not
question
gonna do
for you
that.
guys. More so for you guys because you're more on the Nintendo train. Is Nintendo hamstrung by the notion that they need to make all of their systems portable and something that you could take with you to work or to school? Are they hamstrung by always needing to be portable?
I don't think they're hamstrung because that's their choice.
They've always been.
But you
that.
have to make things
No,
a
but
different
that's-
way. You
but
have
it
to make
hasn't-
things compact.
But it hasn't always been that way. Like when they came out with the Nintendo 64, your comparison to that was a Sega Saturn, which is a 32-bit system, and the PlayStation 1, which is a 32-bit
It's a more recent thing.
But I'm just saying, at that point,
And you had
Nintendo
the Game
64 was the most impressive console because it had GoldenEye, it had Perfect Dark, it had Conkers, it had Mario, Zelda, like it had all those games. And then they fucked it up with the GameCube. They put a handle on a fucking purple box and they gave you a mini disc. And then the shit that you were playing on Xbox is not even fuck close. And they never bothered to get into the online space of competitive, friends list and multiplayer and achievements and all these things.
Their multiplayer still sucks.
They're still way fucking behind. They're like 10 years behind on the online element of like what they can kind of do. Like imagine just jumping in on a headset and getting in a party playing Mario Kart, playing like, all these like Smash Brothers. Like you could technically do it, but there's so many barriers in the way that just make that experience like feel like it's dated back into like 2001. When I play Switch online, anything I try, it feels like I'm playing SOCOM and plugging in my Ethernet cable in the back of my DSL connection.
It takes forever to link up.
It's trash.
It feels purposefully
dated.
limited.
Dated,
Because
limited, but again,
the only reason
if I'm paying $500 for a new Nintendo system, I want all that stuff.
Premium service.
The justification
party
in my
system.
mind is this: Nintendo is targeted for children. The demographic wise, Mario. It's for kids in a sense, right? We grew up with it as kids, and now we're fucking pushing 40.
Big kids.
Big kids. For parents, Nintendo's safe. It's known as a safe brand. It has a certain there are guardrails.
Not a lot of violence
to
There's
protect
not,
the kids. And when you
more
expose
curated.
kids to party chats, I don't know if you've been in a Grand Theft Auto lobby recently,
Yeah, I
or
know.
Call of Duty with the new
Yeah,
sneak
Madden,
up behind.
I know.
Madden. What do you hear
I know.
when you're in those things?
I know.
Is it all friendly and like, hey, what's up, buddy?
Right.
It's not. It's real piece of shit dirtbag stuff. And I think it's smart for them because it keeps their brand really fucking safe. I think it absolutely protects
That's
them.
a good point. It's a really good point.
And that's what Hell's just said. Imagine Modern Warfare 2 chat on a Nintendo system. They can, but they don't want to deal with moderating. Phil had a good response. He said, I don't think they're hamstrung. I think handheld is the future. Also, the Japanese market is mass mobile. Just to clarify, what I mean by hamstrung, by having to be mobile, is that look
Just
how
an update. Rob did fall into the toilet.
Rob died.
He chatted in
Fucking goddamn you cocksuckers. Every time I'm about to make a point, you fucking make me forget my train of thought. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, but how much
like
better
the
is
runt
it?
to the fucking litter with you cocksuckers. Every time I talk,
the
one of you
youngest
motherfuckers cuts me off tonight.
Yeah, but how
We'll
much
lose
better is it now that you're going to go off on us?
No, it's not better because I fucking got a bluster because I can't remember my fucking point. God damn it.
What's a bluster,
Nintendo.
man?
Look how
Call of
fucking big the PlayStation 5 is. Look how big a fucking PC is. Look how big even the Xbox is.
Right.
And when you make something that's got to be portable, now they were clever and they were innovative in that they put it so that's a handheld thing and you put it on the dock and now it plays onto your TV and it's a complete experience. Me, I never play my Switch on the go. I always play it at home. So the benefit isn't really. I know you guys have brought it on the go. You've brought it to work and stuff like that. So like I get it. I'm not saying there's not a place for a handheld. I think what Sony was doing with the Portal was a good way of addressing that. If it could become more reliable, where your beef is still at home on your console.
I'll tell
and then
you
you're
why
just
I got a
streaming it.
Switch,
Yes,
and
I
Vin will relate to this. I got it so when my girlfriend's playing her PlayStation on the TV, I can grab the Switch and still play a video game.
Absolutely.
on the couch.
You can do
When
that
I
with the
have-
PlayStation Portal now, though, too.
I do it with the Portal. I
that's why I
absolutely
got
do
a
it with the
Switch.
Portal.
'Cause
And
I-
here's the thing, though. You know what? Well, I guess
You got to make it a certain way where now it's got to be smaller and you could travel with it. So now you're making sacrifices, is what I'm saying.
I agree. But for us, when you get home, if you were faced with the choice of do I get on my Nintendo console or do I get on my PlayStation console, you're faced with this with your computer probably. What do? Right? You're like, oh, do you go to your PlayStation? Do you go?
Depends on the time I have. Like a lot of times lately, if I have like maybe 15 minutes, I just grab my Switch and I sit in the couch and I play. I grab a couple of stars in Mario. Like I did that probably the last 2 months. Took me 3 months because I didn't like breeze through like Mario 64. I got a couple of stars each
Same.
day, kind of just milked it. Maybe did like a world, each day, and then really enjoyed it. Like I really like. It just goes to show you that still to this day, it's one of the greatest games ever made. Because
Fun.
at 2024, I could still go back and still love it as much as I did when I first played it.
I put it on my top.
It's really my
top
It's
3.
top 5
It's
on
really
any list, anywhere.
my first playthrough, right? As an adult, it's my real first playthrough of 64.
And once you get the
It's
120
challenging.
stars, you get the lift to go to the roof to see Yoshi.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Damn, why'd you tell me that?
You never seen that?
I'm just kidding.
That's
It's-
like, yeah,
it's been
that's
40 years. Spoilers. I think another part of this equation is, as we said, it's a little bit more for kids. It's nice when it's let's say you're a dad and
you want to watch sports
Sunday
and then you can give them
football,
a
and
switch.
I don't want my
fuck
kid
off.
using a damn TV.
Yeah,
you know,
you
and
switch.
I don't want a TV in their bedroom. Really, like
Give them an
there'll
iPad.
definitely be
Give
a
them
little.
yeah.
There'll be some cutoffs with stuff like
Sure.
that because I know how.
I love Nintendo. I will always. The only time I was against Nintendo was the Wii. I just thought it was stupid.
Wii U.
I didn't want to get up and stand up and start flailing. I could work out 2 hours a day in the gym. I'm not getting up and fucking playing tennis.
A lot of
with you in the middle of the
got a
night.
I
Wii
felt
cheap.
the
I
same
got a
way,
Wii
but a
cheap.
lot of people love that shit, playing tennis and
Oh, I get it.
bowling
I
at
get
like
it.
parties.
Fat people
Anyone,
who don't
old
go outside.
people,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
parents,
Super
everybody
Mario-
was
People who
doing
don't
that
get
shit.
exercise that don't fucking.
Super Mario Brothers. I think it was 2, or maybe it was just Super Mario Brothers on the Wii.
Here's
One of the
what took me out
most
of
fun
Nintendo
games.
for a
Me
whole
and Yao-
generation.
Me and Yao beat the whole game together and side by side. Me and
Twilight
Yao.
Princess killed Nintendo for me for a generation. Because I bought Twilight Princess and I was super hyped for it because when Wind Waker came out, everyone was initially disappointed. Like, oh, this looks ridiculous. It looks like a baby Zelda with cel-shaded graphics. And then obviously when you played Wind Waker, it's one of the greatest games of all time. Fast forward a few years later, they finally give you that adult Zelda in Twilight Princess where it's a mature Zelda. It kind of looks graphically superior.
It's an Ocarina of Time.
Yeah,
sequel.
and then it was like the last game before the GameCube went away, and it was a launch title for the Wii. So what I did is I played half of it on the fucking GameCube and then traded in my GameCube for a Wii, started the game over again, and realized after about a half hour of having to do this to shoot a bow, I don't want to play this anymore.
Right.
So I actually never got to finish Twilight Princess. It's one of the only Zeldas that I'd never finished, and I regret it because it's one of the best Zeldas, but the Wii took me out of the fucking game. I'm not going to sit here and play a 70-hour game and I'm just not doing that.
Luckily, the Mario Brothers did not do that. It was just pure handheld. Funny enough, I wish they would do a Zelda collection like they did with the Mario collection. I'd love to play Ocarina of Time.
I mean, you
I'd love to
can.
play
That
Wind
Nintendo
Waker.
Pass, you can pay them all.
No, but he's saying that they
Oh, like
they
on one
re-released
disc?
like a package
Yeah,
with
yeah,
all
yeah,
the
yeah.
Pack, I'd
games.
pay $80. Get
Yeah,
them
like
on
3D
some
All
cards.
Mario
Stars.
Sunshine. They should do that.
Like just a trio. I think Ocarina of Time, Wind Waker,
Twilight Princess.
and Twilight Princess would all go together, right?
Sure.
I think that would be a hit.
Some good questions and then comments rather, and then there's still a question that
I
we
can't
started
believe Rob
and
missed
never.
the whole PS5 conversation.
That's fine.
Rob is here though. He's
We can wrap it up and talk about like our favorite Sony consoles after he gets to the comments.
Oh fuck.
Oh, go ahead.
well. So we have Rob said we need Microsoft to let Rare put out Donkey Kong 64 and Battletoads Double Dragon.
I'm putting
Yep.
out Donkey Kong. It's a fucking Nintendo license.
Yeah,
He says it every week.
but they should do Banjo Kazooie.
No, I want Conkers.
Conker's Bedford, another one. Phil asked if Rob's going to play The Division, the new one. But I wanted to mention because we got some varying answers to what I was saying about whether you play your Switch on the go or at home. Hell said, I've never plugged my Switch into my TV, whereas Rob said, I only play my Switch on my TV.
Yeah, we know.
So it's definitely like, definitely
I also
varied
have an OLED
responses there.
Switch, so it looks a lot nicer handheld, but that's neither here nor there. All right, back to our final topic to wrap up and put a bow on the PlayStation topic.
Your favorite.
I told you PlayStation 2 for me, Grand Theft Auto 3, Metal Gear Solid 2,
Metal Gear Solid 3, Snake Eater.
Metal Gear Solid 3, Snake Eater, PlayStation 2. I probably put more time in SOCOM 1 and 2 than the time that I put in every single game I played for PS1, PS3, and PS4 combined.
And you had different games. It wasn't just I love SOCOM, and I played SOCOM more than any of them. And SOCOM 3 also.
Yeah.
But you also had Medal of Honor. We still had the Medal of Honor games. We still had, I guess we still get Ghost Recon.
I'll dare to
Same.
say that is still to this day, like, it's tough because you can go nostalgic and talk about Nintendo 64, PS1, blah, blah, blah. But if you look at, like, just the competitive spirit of like that generation of Xbox, PS2, and GameCube, man, we just were swimming in like amazing video games for years.
Great games, not just great systems. Great games.
We also had the Tony Hawk's games.
Oh, God, those are so fun.
A lot of good Tony Hawk
Tons
games
of
on
hours.
PlayStation 2.
Jesus.
PlayStation 2 was also on the Sony series the first to have online.
Right.
So I remember getting online for the PlayStation 2.
Had to buy.
I remember the PlayStation 2 had so many like mods that you can get. I had a hard drive installed in the back of my PlayStation 2, and I had this thing called HD Loader, and I was able to rent games from Blockbuster and then save them on my PlayStation 2 and play them. All you need to do is put this disc in. The games would be saved.
I'll tell you like a surprise and delight moment, and a moment where like it's not pertaining to graphics. It's just pertaining to like enjoying like a medium. The first time you put a DVD into your PS2, it's like I'm living in the future now.
Right.
Right?
Matrix.
Like I'm not playing on a VHS anymore. I got a fucking DVD player.
They died that day.
You know?
They died.
You had a lot of different moddable type things, as I was saying.
I remember playing all the Sopranos.
I wasn't talking. I wasn't in the middle of fucking talking. You motherfuckers! I'm gonna fucking lose it tonight.
Finish what I was saying.
3 years we've been doing this fucking show, and we still talk over each
Trying
other.
to cut me off before I finished what I was saying.
You answered the question already fucking 20 minutes ago. When did we get to answer this fucking question?
I had the dais.
Talk about the PlayStation 2.
What do you mean? I didn't.
You took the dais again. You answered before. You said PS2 is your favorite. You fucking
I
round
didn't tell
it
you
up.
why.
You told us why.
You just
Told
cut me
us
off.
why.
That's all right. Go ahead.
Cut you off. See, only Joe can interrupt you and then fucking say you interrupted him.
I'll beat the
He's
fuck
in the middle
out of you.
talking about my fucking ability to save games on the hard drive, which was fucking awesome. You also had Game Shark still. You had Action Replay. You had
45 memory cards. Remember those?
oh yeah, the different fucking memory cards that you can get. There was so much like I don't know, like accessory type shit that you can get for the PS2. Whereas what do you get?
The vertical stand.
That was the thing.
Oh yeah.
You needed a stand for that. I always had it on its.
You didn't need
flat on
it.
its
You didn't
thing.
need
but
it.
it was
Yeah.
the blue.
Yeah, all the blue and purple kind of Charlotte Hornet.
A lot of cool, innovative controllers that you can get on the PS2. That all died with the PS2.
Little analog stick.
There was none of that on the PS3. That's when it stopped. All of these like cool, open, moddable things kind of died with the PS2.
Then, you agree? PS2, best Sony console? Or your favorite, I should say?
You didn't have a PS2, right?
Of course I did.
He sold it for
you
an
didn't have
Xbox,
one of
though.
them, I thought.
No. First of all, PS2 was probably the most.
You had a
hyped-
PS1?
Yeah, PS1. So that story is my buddy's older brother had like a Japanese PlayStation 1 or whatever. His dad got it. Like
So there's PlayStation and then there's PS1. Do you know the difference?
a PS1 was the little guy.
The little one.
Yeah,
It's the
remember,
small,
those were
yeah,
fucking
yeah, I
I'm
remember
talking
that.
PlayStation.
It was tiny
It's
little.
the OG.
square,
Square.
gray box.
Yep.
You know, not really.
PlayStation.
Oh,
Resident Evil 2.
You're not talking about the PlayStation
Resident
Mini.
Evil-
Because
see?
they made a PlayStation
See?
Mini also.
And we cut off you. But,
well, we're talking about the same thing.
but he was
PlayStation-
just talking and telling you his reason. You just stopped and cut him off.
You said
in the middle of a
PlayStation
movie.
1.
You said, don't you ever go over my head again, you motherfucker.
I'm asking you to clarify because are you talking about the PlayStation? Was it the Mini, or are you saying there was another system?
There was
There was a
PlayStation,
PS1. It was
and then
like
there
this
was something
big.
called PS1 that
Yeah,
came
It
out.
was like this big, I think.
It looked like a fucking Sony Walkman.
Yeah, it was like a roundish, very small, slim, very cool. It was a good. It was
I remember that.
That's
a nice little
whatever.
thing. Even
Anyway.
the PS2 Slim was fucking dope. Yeah. I didn't get one. Anyway, PS1 was like, holy shit. Resident Evil 2 was like, I would watch
Even the first Resident Evil.
I didn't see that. I feel like I kind of just happened to jump in again. I was only exposed to it because I was probably in like 4th or 5th grade. I was pretty young when that
Like
had
97,
come out.
yeah.
And I think he had it in like August or July. So I was seeing that stuff in the middle of but I don't think it launched in the US till November of that year.
Okay.
Anyway, the PS2 hype unmatched. I've never been more excited for a console. The magazine, when they dropped the magazine that had the first images of it
Yeah.
and the games they were going to
PlayStation Magazine, official PlayStation Magazine?
Yes,
Yeah.
and had they showed it to you on the front. I went everywhere with that magazine. Had it. I just was obsessed.
Yeah.
They showed you could twist the PlayStation
Twist the
logo,
PlayStation, put
and
up
go
vertical,
side.
yep.
It was just, I could not believe it was going to happen. They had a fancy name for the processor they were using. It wasn't Cell, it was something else. They had a really good name for it. I was hyped. I knew everything about it.
Yeah.
I could not get over. I could not wait to have it. I could not wait to possess it. It was the beginning. It was the first console released in the era of eBay, which made it fucking all the more worse to try to get. And I tell this story ad nauseum. I'm not going to tell it again, but the Toys R Us random visit.
Yeah.
These fuckers roll a U-boat. Bang.
Yep.
It's right there. So
Yeah, I
I
got
went
mine
home.
at EB Games.
No memory card.
November. Yeah.
Didn't get a memory card.
October, November.
I had to wait. It was like a month, until Christmas, and my mom hooked me up with like one of the. Again, it was like the Matrix.
The
DVD
only
with
thing
the
I
remote.
say about PlayStation 2 that hurts is it was the death of Sega.
Yeah.
Right, because that's the.
Well, that would
Dreamcast
be
came out-
PlayStation 1, right?
No, Dreamcast came out 9/9/1999, my birthday.
Oh shit!
And then PlayStation 2 came out October of 2000. And just shit all
Everybody
over.
shit on the
It
Dreamcast.
was over.
Even kids knew you don't get the Dreamcast.
So I
was
mean,
over.
that was the end of Sega.
And it had online multiplayer
It
first.
had everything.
It had great football
Best
game.
sports games,
It-
not even close.
It's so odd. of
Sonic
how
Adventure was great, but it's like
even though it being better.
couldn't.
Was it the controller? What
The
was it
controller
about
was weird. It had that memory, and then you had like a Tamagotchi inside the controller. It was just like
right. It was
Yeah, it was
Um,
weird.
they just did not have the IP past like
Sonic.
2K and Phantasy Star Online was big for them in
yeah.
the beginning, but they had like their Sega branded first party games.
motion.
What killed Dreamcast was no third party support. That was the death of the Dreamcast.
True, and I think there's a story behind that. I think Sony locked up a lot of developers
Oh,
on,
yeah.
on shit.
Absolutely.
I think it was a business
Absolutely.
deal, and they murdered them.
Phil said the
And also
PS2
mismanagement by Sega.
Yeah.
There's a whole documentary about it. Like,
Yeah.
how did the death of Dreamcast?
Yeah.
Also, the other game that kind of comes to mind about, this isn't possible was definitely Grand Theft Auto and PS2. Grand Theft Auto 3, PS2, it just didn't seem real. It just didn't seem like, I was like, I've never
paradigm shift.
experienced something like this. It was just so mind-blowing.
Yeah, walking in the middle of the street and hijacking a car and then running into a building, jumping off a ramp, pulling up
Driving
to a
through a plate
hooker.
glass window, getting a
Like,
hooker,
yeah,
all the guns, fires. I have moments.
And then the voice acting in that game, like it was just unparalleled. Only other game I would say is on par with that was Metal Gear Solid.
Oh, that was such a good one. And
So-
I have to,
More celebrities in GTA.
More
though.
celebrities, but
But,
GTA felt
they had
like
to
a
get rid of that.
movie where Metal Gear felt like a
guys
video game kind of portraying a movie.
Who was it though?
But
It was
GTA
Burt
felt
Reynolds.
like
Oh,
Burt Reynolds was in.
Burt Reynolds would be.
Burt Reynolds was in one of the GTA games, and he was apparently like a real asshole and like just had an ego. And they kind of learned like we can't go with these Hollywood actors because they.
Well, I
like-
remember the big hype
you
with
couldn't-
Samuel L. Jackson on San Andreas was like,
Yeah.
it was just
And
like
they couldn't
yeah.
get. They wanted to do rewrites and
the
they
Welcome
wanted
to
do
the Jungle
things.
trailer from Guns N' Roses. That was insane.
Bro,
Yeah,
those
for
two
San
games-
Andreas.
There's
And
never
Vice City had Flock of Seagulls and I ran.
Vice City's
and
the most
GTA
hyped
3.
game of all time.
Oh,
I think-
yeah,
I don't think
yeah.
there's ever been a
It's one of
game more
my
hyped.
favorite.
Because GTA 3 was so good,
Right.
and then Vice City was like, oh my god, and then the song for GTA 3, the commercial was that, the opera song.
Yeah, old school mob song. So yeah, we're all agreeing PlayStation 2.
PlayStation 2, I mean, PS3 was, like I said, the Dark Ages, I
PS4.
think.
PS4 would be your pick.
Was strong. It's man, nostalgia glasses, dude. Nostalgia.
I get it. No.
How do you beat the paradigm shift
I
to
get it.
GTA 3
I
and
get
then
it.
Metal Gear? It was just such a.
Yeah.
I read a whole article today. Bloomberg put it out saying speaking to exactly that. Why a PS5 Pro just can't impress is because, especially for us, we went through polygon bullshit. We've been through it all. We've seen every step of the way, and it's going to be very challenging to create that same feeling or do something that's so different, new, and never happened before, never saw it before
Yeah.
in this era. It's just not
Can't
the same.
wow us anymore.
Right. Us.
so
I mean,
we're
maybe
just-
because I'm old and jaded, and maybe there'll be some new, kids. There's new experiences to be had when
It's not the same.
Things
though,
change.
because a kid today, if he's 5 years old and he's playing video games for the first time, he's playing like unbelievably looking video games. So how much better are those video games going to be for that kid in 20 years, as opposed to where like 20, 30 years ago we were on 8-bit, now we're on like 4K 60 frames.
I was
Yeah,
thinking
so we
about,
get like, holy fuck, this is crazy.
I was reflecting on that a little bit because I was like,
It won't be that big of a like.
It won't be graphics that do it.
No.
It will be AI, and it will be interaction and immersion happening in a game where there'll be you know, right now you play Starfield, you play Cyberpunk. I think Cyberpunk's the best example of like really clean dialogue and like interesting conversation back and forth, and the way the NPCs work is pretty, you know, decent. But they're still on rails. It still has this feeling of lifelessness.
Multiple choice.
Yeah, it's just kind of, it doesn't have a natural. If they're able to wield it in the right way, I just think that will be something that leads to a level of immersion that you'll be like, almost like caught off guard at how responsive the NPCs are, how fucking like, oh shit, like they really reacted to what I did. It wasn't a canned thing. It wasn't scripted moments. It's one of the reasons GTA is still hands down one of the best games ever. Unscripted moments. The engine, they just let it go. They let us do what we want, and we get to make it what we want it to be. So I think that can be something that makes gaming feel next level beyond the graphics. I think that's what maybe we're waiting for and don't know it.
All right, so that was a long. Anything before you
Well, Rob is
Rob is
here.
still going.
Rob is here in the comments, if not physically, and he said, "I hold the OG PlayStation and PS2 in the same regard." So Rob is tied between the original PlayStation and PS2.
Doesn't surprise me.
Understandable.
So we talked a lot about
good.
video games. Last topic of the night. It is Friday the 13th. I thought we would talk about and review Beetlejuice.
Right.
And then talk about maybe our favorite
It's just me and you.
horror movie character of all time. I know you saw it, and I know you will never watch it probably. Beetlejuice, the sequel to Beetlejuice that took 30-some-odd years, 34 years to make, was, in my opinion, the worst movie I have seen in the last 25 years.
Ooh.
Fucking terrible.
Okay.
It was horrible.
Gotcha.
Snooze fest. Not even Michael Keaton was good in this movie as Beetlejuice. There was nothing he said that was like memorable or laugh out loud funny, or there's nothing you can quote on this movie years later where like, you bunch of fucking losers! You're doing a fucking professional here! Like,
Scary.
Honk,
Gonna be
honk.
scary.
you know,
It had zero edge.
no edge, no pop, no.
Nothing.
Edge.
It was like a Disney like version of like Beetlejuice. It just didn't have any like.
I got to be honest. Yeah,
Holy fuck!
I went with
so
my
disappointed.
girlfriend.
And she was too. My girl it's terrible.
She loved.
On my birthday we went.
Oh, even worse.
Terrible.
I would say I feel like it was a movie meant for kids or something.
But that's not what Beetlejuice was when we
I
were
know.
kids.
And
It was
I
almost
get
like,
that.
ooh, I don't know if I should let my kid watch this. Maybe
The humor
I don't know.
was over your head
Over the
almost.
head,
I didn't
yeah.
understand. That was probably the first fuck I might have ever heard,
Yeah,
honestly, because
sure.
I laughed every single time.
I would
Nice
rewind
fucking
it.
model.
Yeah.
Dead. You can
Yeah.
break your VCR on
Yeah.
that one.
Rewind.
Bro, every time rolling on the floor. So with that being the
This was
benchmark,
terrible.
this movie sucked.
I would give it a 2 out of 10, and that's
I think it'd be,
nice.
in my opinion, like a fun Halloween
Story
movie for your
was
kids.
Not even. It was just not watchable. Like, I will never watch that movie again. It was just really bad.
We never talked
There was
about it
no
after the fact.
scenes. There was no memorable, like, nothing. The one thing that struck out to me was, like, Danny DeVito was in a cameo, and he made, like, a noise like the Penguin did in Batman Returns, because it's Tim Burton. And
It felt like that.
yeah, he gave us, like, a little bit of,
That movie felt like Tim Burton just
it
wanted to
was
get
a
his friends
giant
some
fucking
paychecks.
cast grab.
His wife,
giant cast grab.
his girlfriend was in it, and her character had no purpose. There was no purpose in the villain in the whole
Monica
fucking thing.
Bellucci, was that her name?
Yeah, it was like a separate movie.
It's just- what
Why
was
was
that?
this happening? What do we even? What is the threat here? I don't understand. And then at the end, it just wraps up with the sandworm.
Sandworm, yeah.
Those cameos and I was like, damn man.
You know why the one guy was
I
cut
just
out,
tried
right?
to-
But you look forward
Yes,
to
'cause
Michael
he's a
Keaton as
pederast,
Beetlejuice.
8-year-old
That's the draw here.
Right.
And I know
Edgy.
I know
Funny.
that Michael Keaton was like the allure for Beetlejuice.
Hey!
He's not on, welcome back. He's not on the screen that much, and that's what makes his scenes impactful and memorable.
Just like
But
Rob.
even the scenes that he was in and on, I have
Like
no
my ass on a
recollection
chair,
of them
impactful.
whatsoever. They were terrible.
I
Did you see Beetlejuice?
No, I'm not planning on it.
You're not gonna miss
you don't
anything.
have to, yeah.
Worst movie I've seen in theaters in 25 years.
Sheesh.
Yeah.
It is a
That's
bad.
a good. We could
it is a
go
bad
on with
movie.
that. That's a
And
good
that's
one.
and
the
that's
worst
and
movie you've
that's
seen in 25
that's
years.
the shame is that that's like his second loss recently because he was in The Flash and even Michael.
This
Keaton
is
Batman
bigger though.
at the
Like
same
Beetlejuice is a
I'm just
very
saying.
Beetlejuice is
What were
a
the two things that Michael
beloved
Keaton was known
fucking
for in
character.
the '90s? Batman and Beetlejuice, and both
Correct.
fucking bombed.
Beetlejuice is one of those movies that it's out of nowhere. It's not based on anything pre-existing.
Nothing.
It's very like niche. It would never get made today.
No.
It would never get approved to be made.
Well, clearly it did, and it's terrible.
No, I mean the first movie.
Well, I know
You
what you're saying, but I'm like,
It
there's a
was
that
reason
edgy? I
why.
don't think it was that edgy.
The first
Nice
one.
I used to
fucking
watch that
model.
shit when I was a little kid.
It's so subtly,
favorite
it's
scene.
so subtly edgy. It's so, like when he's like, can we ask you some questions? Can you be scary? And he fucking's like, can I be scared? Fucking jerk off. You know, he just subtle. He tickles fucking the girl while he's hugging Hermano. You know, he's just there's an edge and a perversion.
He's
to
rubbing
him.
the girl's leg in the
It's
fucking waiting
very,
room.
it's very perverted.
There was zero.
and they
like,
didn't allow for any of that.
nothing.
It's
Hey,
old
Coach,
man Beetlejuice.
I don't think we survived that
They
crash.
killed Bob. They
How'd
shouldn't
you
have killed Bob.
guess?
I like Bob.
Like Bob, too.
Why did they kill Bob? They killed Bob for no purpose. It served no purpose. It just died. And then they just said, I thought it was hilarious. The one scene where I laughed was when the big fuckers ran out and they were running out of the house, going all different directions. It was just a quick gag. But again, I was sitting there going, this is for kids, man. They really dumbed this down for like, and again, like pussification for kids. Like, oh, we're too scared to offend
I don't even
someone.
think kids would like this movie because it's just they don't even know what.
It's kind of
like,
weird. It's a little.
The only reason a kid is going to watch it because maybe their parents let them watch the original and they're going to be like, "What the hell is this shit?"
True. It's like doing a Nightmare Before Christmas sequel. You just don't need it. You don't
Grace
need
died
this shit.
30 years ago.
Yeah. So I
But that really put a sour taste in my mouth in terms of like movies. It was
I was hoping it would be fun and funny, and they
super stoked when they released a trailer for it and they
cool.
released like a, that's why I'm worried about the Goonies. I don't.
They should leave that the fuck alone.
I mean, it's like
it's
it goes back to what we were talking about in video games. It's like
Nobody
they
wants
just
to see that.
they don't have any original fucking ideas anymore. Everything has to be a remake, a remaster, a prequel, a sequel.
I don't think
bad.
it's for lack.
The last Ghostbusters was fucking terrible.
I watched
didn't even
it
see it.
very
Horrible.
passively on HBO. I was like, oh.
Bad.
Didn't even see
I
it.
thought you guys liked that one with the
first one was great.
Afterlife was
great,
decent.
yeah.
Afterlife was the new one that came out.
I got a kick
horrible.
out of that.
Ice, whatever, something. I don't know.
Ice baby.
Yeah. Dun, 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 dun,
I
dun, dun.
think it's not for lack of creativity because I wouldn't say that we
the
don't
world's
live-
the world's full of fucking pussies.
They don't
That's
wanna
what
get
it
It's
is.
because the people in power
Are
when
pussies.
The movie studios are so fearful
Giant vaginas.
to end up trending for whatever
Coitus.
reason. Because every little moment can be frozen, can be taken out of context, you could do everything to manipulate and make something seem more outrageous than it is.
Pussies.
And then the reaction, I'm going to go back real quick because the PS5 Pro thing. Everyone just wants to react and get their little opinion out. We're sitting here on a fucking show that we put money into react, Everyone's doing this. So there's just this fucking lens that is impossible to elude or evade. And
That's
the
fucking
powers that
interesting,
be
Cancel.
will not allow any kind of dangerous, they're just such
Pussies.
stale, stagnant
Pussies.
pussies. Yeah, soft. They're not willing to take the risk to see something new.
Yeah.
So I think that's the problem. I think someone laid it out recently on an episode of Hot Ones really well. They just had Vince Vaughn on there
All right.
because he was doing an Apple show.
Where the fuck has he been?
And they asked, Sean
Wedding
asked him,
Crashers? Loved it.
why? Yeah, he goes, so in that era of comedies, you guys were just old school, Wedding Crashers,
Talladega Nights,
Step Brothers. Vince Vaughn not being in them, but he rattled off the ones that he was in, and Vince Vaughn gave a great answer, and it was very much in that same vein. These people are scared to do anything that's going to offend. They don't understand the humor. They don't understand what makes people laugh. The people making the decisions don't have the humor to understand. They're just suits. They know we're going to go in. We're going to do Beetlejuice. It's going to bank this much money. It's going to be the box office. I'm going to get my bonus. I'm going to get my 20 mil. Bop, 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 bop. And they wash their hands and they move on. They don't care about the art. They don't care about the actors and the script. And the actors are willing to take the payday.
We're in a dying age of medium.
We're in a
Media is
a strangulation of
What
creativity.
what is the wake up here? Like when is it gonna? Can it ever recover?
When people finally stop going to see these things and
No.
stop paying for the subscription services, and
That's not going to happen. That's not going to happen.
Can I make a counterpoint though? Kind of different. What?
I was busting balls.
You're just getting ready to interrupt.
No,
before
no,
I'm going to start talking. So
you wanted
it's
the
your
floor.
cue to fucking.
We need the
The
spotlight.
dais.
And I'm already forgetting now what I was going to say.
Say it again.
Fucking
It's the dais. It's the
cocksuckers.
dais.
No, well, so here's the thing too. There is a certain point where a lot of stuff has just been done already. Like, okay, so if you're going to make a movie that takes place in the future, oh, well, Blade Runner, you know, or if you're going to make something that's been done in the Old West, how many times has that been done? Or if you want to make something, you know, post-apocalyptic, oh, well, you know, that's Mad Max or Fallout. There was a time where, like, you could make new stuff because it hasn't been done before. But I feel like a lot of shit has been done. How many new environments or settings can you create?
Listen,
I'm not saying it's not possible. I'm just saying it. Then you run into the problem, though, of, well, now you're going to get sued because this movie is too similar to that one.
Oh, not
Meanwhile,
even.
that's how stories have been told for generations.
You
They've
realize
always
in the
stolen
fucking
stuff.
Ben-Hur and fucking all the classic movies that we've never seen are constantly ripped off. Gladiator, Ridley
In the
Scott.
60s, they came out with two movies,
I don't think
like
it's
a
la-
year or
yeah.
two apart from each other, Rio Bravo and Rio Grande, and they were same fucking movie, and they both starred John Wayne, and one had fucking Dean Martin, and then the other one had somebody else, and it was the same fucking movie twice.
Ready?
So I don't want to hear complaints about things getting remade.
Here,
today
ready?
and not yesterday.
This is another part. Someone walks in your office. I'm going to paint a slow picture here. Someone walks in the office and they go, I got this idea for a comedy. It's going to be a funny movie. It's going to be a guy who's a pet detective. All right? And he's got to look for this dolphin. And
Snowflake.
he's going to run into XYZ. They're never going to make that fucking movie. They're never going to put... they're just not going to do it because they don't want to take the risk. They don't understand it.
Right.
They don't get, oh, we're going to insert this guy, Jim Carrey, and he's going to carry the whole fucking thing.
Case
Hey,
in point, when's the last time like
The Mask.
DreamWorks came out with a fucking animated movie? Now we got Despicable Me 4.
But that's actually
It's
a good
like
point that
4
you bring up.
fucking
Like,
movies.
when is the last time we had an emerging star come out of and build a franchise from like one new innovative IP, like Ace Ventura, right? Ace Ventura gave us all these other movies. You know,
it's a sequel. That's a top 10, maybe even 5 sequel movie.
well, what I'm saying is that spun off like, you know, Liar Liar and Dumb and Dumber and, you know, all these other Jim Carrey movies. And there was that whole era of Jim Carrey, Chris Farley, Adam Sandler movies. And now you don't have anyone coming up.
Chris Pratt.
You want to know why?
Well, where's the next Jim Carrey? Where's the next Adam Sandler? Like, where's the next, you know, Eddie Murphy? Like, I was watching the Beverly Hills Cop. It was bad. It's just, I watched maybe 30 minutes of it. I was like, this is
The new
terrible.
one.
You want, here's
bad.
It goes back to the risk factor. Where did Jim Carrey come from? Do you know?
Saturday
Living
Night
Color.
Live.
Canada.
In Living Color. Who did that? The Wayans brothers.
Right.
They let the Wayans brothers run a show on primetime fucking
Well, he
Friday
was a
night.
stand-up comedian before he was on In Living Color, but he was
unknown.
he got his
Fire
his
Marshal Bill.
break
Dirty
on In
Harry.
Living Color.
Right. And that
Dirty Harry was his first
allowed
role.
someone who said, we're going to do this pet detective movie,
Right.
this guy.
Yeah.
They were like, yeah. I think no one's willing to take the risk to do In Living Color.
Well, the other thing is, like, when's the last like huge breakout
How
Saturday
much
Night Live
racial
star?
humor is in Living Color?
Tons.
You know what I'm saying? There's
Homie, don't
there's
play
an
that.
edge. We are lacking edge. It's not creativity. It's not lack of inspiration.
Lacking balls.
It's the people who make the decisions.
Have no balls.
Will not allow there to be anything that is perceived to be edgy.
Well, people are
'Cause
afraid
there's
to get canceled.
There's a
and this and
swath
that.
of
It's
fucking assholes waiting behind the keyboard to just tidal wave the fuck out of anything that seems, I don't know,
Because
offensive.
jokes are considered
They're
bullying
offended
now.
for
That's what
other
it is.
people that they aren't.
So
okay?
by that logic, it's almost like the death of comedy.
For now, yes.
pendulum swings.
Usually
People are
with
gonna get
everything,
tired of this
right.
baby
Usually
shit.
with everything.
I don't subscribe to that. I don't think it's as.
When's the last
as
time you went to a
horrible as that.
comedy movie?
I mean, when's the last time I go to movies?
they don't
in
allow for
general?
those movies. To,
But what I'm saying is, we went to see Wedding Crashers. We went to see
in
They're
theaters,
getting Sarah
Austin
Marshall.
Powers. We went to go see like all these fucking
old
movies.
school.
Like we went to the theater to see these movies and we looked forward to them. You know, the last one was probably
Where did
you know,
Will Ferrell come
Hangover, you know, things like that. Again, when's the last breakout star for Saturday Night Live that spun off into his own character and made like his own character into movies and things like Night at the Roxbury, things like this. Like we don't have
Who
that
is the
anymore.
modern day Adam Sandler?
We don't have
We
it.
have
Who?
Chris Pratt is our
Chris
version.
Pratt is not a comedian.
I'm
he's
not
not
saying.
creative.
Well, I'm not saying that he's a good suitable.
But how could
I'm
you
just saying,
compare Chris Pratt to Adam
'cause
Sandler?
they put him in fucking everything. And he started
That's
off
like
on The
saying
Office
The Rock
or
is
whatever
your
it
fucking
was.
Jim Carrey because The Rock's and everything. They're not fucking
Rock's a
comedians.
modern
We're
day
talking about like
Schwarzenegger.
it's just not tangible.
I don't buy into the, and also it's funny. Bill Burr, who's my favorite stand-up comedian, he's fucking hilarious. And if you watch his shows,
he's
this
good.
is not a problem. You know, he's still funny. Comedy still.
Yeah, but he's not as mainstream as.
Well,
some of the
I'm
other,
not talking about
not
that.
an
I'm just
actor.
saying Bill Maher tried to pull like this cancel culture is killing comedy, right? And he's like, no, it's not. Shut up. Like, we can still tell jokes. It's not that serious. Like, it's not,
It's not
But
that.
I don't
it's
think
not,
that
I'm not
it's-
talking about stand-up comedy.
No,
I'm
stand-up
talking about
comedy will always have
executives who sign
I
off
know what
on
you-
$20 million fucking movie
That's
budgets.
exactly right.
It has
Yeah,
nothing
that's
to do
exactly
with
right.
the comedians or the
exactly right.
people. NBC isn't taking edgy people onto SNL.
The art form
They're not
of
allowing
filmmaking
the
is
writers to be
suffered.
edgy. There's limits. There are guardrails on everything.
Eddie Murphy would
And it's
stand
an
outside the building and tell jokes. That's how he got on the cast
And he left after a year. He was like, "Fuck this place."
because he made more money in the fucking two
He
movies.
was
he
so
made.
good. It was like they threw him out there to do a close because they had to fill time.
I'm just saying, like the
That's-
insane amount of like talent that came through the pipe on those shows that we don't have. Like they were almost like the training grounds, the NXT, if you will, of like comedians and something that you can make a character.
Improv.
Like fucking Wayne's World, fucking Austin Powers, like all those movies that
God.
Matt Damon has a very good explanation to this question. There's like an interview that came out this year sometime recently where he talks about how much
thing.
more profitable it used to be to make movies because then you not only had the theatrical release, but then you could look forward to the DVD release and that you would still be getting paid years later
Residuals.
off of this stuff. Whereas now, because physical media has died off.
Streaming services.
It's all streaming
who
services.
have a chokehold on the industry.
Yeah.
Netflix, Amazon, and
you
fucking
don't get
they
anything
own-
for streaming on Netflix if you're an actor.
You get pennies. It's like streaming your music on Spotify and Apple.
Well,
Music. You
the
get pennies.
main
That's
actors will get paid,
fractions of
but-
well, they get deals up front. They get up front
Yeah.
money. They don't have to worry about residuals really.
Right.
But to and again the
Was the
not only the
residuals,
actors-
Vince?
So I
Jesse
it's a
Ventura,
combination of circumstances for sure, but I just think that there is definitely
Or just fuck.
Beetlejuice was a bad movie because it lacked edge. It didn't have the elements the first movie had that made
None,
it good.
zero.
Was it the same like writer?
Yeah,
Tim Burton.
Burton.
It's literally Tim Burton. Same.
I was so hyped and excited, like the first like 10 seconds of like they showed like the intro with the music, and I was like, oh, this is gonna be good. And then Danny DeVito came on, I'm like, oh, this is, and then it's just like I fell asleep, and like 30 minutes in, it's like what is this like? And the other mistake that movie made is they just panned to Beetlejuice in a random scene. You're not supposed to show him until you say his name 3 times.
Right.
They fucked that up too.
Did they show the shrunken head guy though?
Yeah, it's all over
they
the place.
made-
Was that funny? They give him a good little shine.
It's just not. It didn't have any weight or any like
No.
substance to it. It was just. It was an empty fucking shell of a fucking.
There were certain things.
It was like a
cool.
G-rated fucking Beetlejuice. Not even PG. Like it was a G-rated fucking
And you
kids
gotta think about it,
cartoon
like,
Beetlejuice.
Most of the original cast. I mean, Gina Davis. What movie has she made in the last?
she wasn't even in
They're not
it.
in it. So him and her and Alec Baldwin are not.
Alec
in it.
Baldwin's wanted because he fucking shot somebody on a movie set. The father.
That one of
He was
it
exonerated.
doesn't matter.
You
They're
didn't
not
need
in
any
it.
of those
He was
people.
like
All you needed was Michael Keaton.
It was. Yeah.
That's all you needed.
It doesn't have
Didn't
to
need
do
any of
with
those
that.
people.
They have the
The whole
Winona Ryder.
They
They had the
was
mother.
about that family dealing.
They
with
had
it.
the mother.
but
they
the-
had Winona Ryder. That's all they needed.
Yeah,
Winona
Lydia
Ryder,
and
Michael
Winona.
Keaton. You don't need anybody else.
And Wednesday Adams there now. Fucking
Jenna Ortega. I love her.
Ortega, yeah, she's great. I thought she was, great for what she was doing in the movie. I thought it was interesting with the fucking kid, and he's dead. I was like,
I called it right away
me
when
too,
they
with
didn't
the
show the
tree.
parents like
when-
face.
Oh, I called it
I
once
was
she
like, they're dead.
crashed.
Yeah.
Because the way he popped out, I was like, what is this fucking guy doing in a treehouse?
Yeah.
Right away, and then it was like, oh, they won't care about the fence. I was like, oh, he's dead. And then they go inside, and you don't see their faces. I was like, oh, he's dead.
Yeah.
Anyway, it wasn't funny and edgy and didn't have the elements that make that first
Giant fucking
Beetlejuice.
zero. Giant fucking zero.
I enjoyed it just to, whatever, with my girlfriend and watch it, but I wouldn't be watching it really ever again.
Zero. So Rob, we were talking about, since it's Friday the 13th, like, who is your all-time favorite horror movie character? It could be a horror movie, it could be like a Universal monster character, but like,
Everybody gets one choice, no honorable mentions. One choice,
wow.
that's it.
You don't get an honorable mention.
No honorable mentions. We fucking, because then whoever answers first answers for everybody else. You got one choice.
That's
All
never
right.
gonna happen.
Bela Lugosi Dracula.
We're gonna get through.
Bela Lugosi.
Bela Lugosi Dracula. And he has the same birthday as me. Bella.
When did that come out?
1950s,
We're talking
Earlier,
like an
the
older
40s.
movie, right?
1960s. You don't know what Bela Lugosi is?
Bela Lugosi?
No, I knew it was old.
You ever
That's
see
why-
Abbott and
Bram
Costello?
Stoker's Dracula?
Yeah, yeah. I just forget like when
He's
it
the
came
original Universal monster movies, you know. Dracula, Frankenstein, Wolfman. He's the original
Right.
Dracula.
out. Why is that your favorite?
Well, I mean, that was like my intro. My mom was huge Universal monsters
My mom too.
movies. Frankenstein was okay. He was probably my second, but I
Horace
would say that,
Karloff.
yeah. And then the Lon Chaney,
Chaney
Wolfman
Jr.
movies are fantastic. Like, they're really great. Even a man who's pure of heart and says his prayers night and night become a wolf when the wolfbane blooms and the moon is full and bright. Yeah, those are great movies too. But I was raised on those, and Bela Lugosi was like, you know, I loved
Building the whole-
his
I used to have the little glow in
Style.
the dark Universal monsters.
I still have them.
Loved them.
You know, they're building a whole park dedicated to that at Epic Universe.
I gotta go.
Yeah, it's going to be a whole thing dedicated to the original horror, Universal horror
But
guys.
that's to say, though,
Frankenstein's fucking
not
thing,
as an
I think they're
honorable
gonna have all
mention, but it's even though Bela Lugosi is my favorite, character of like monster movies, I will say that my favorite horror movie though is the original Halloween.
Oh, amazing.
It's my favorite like Halloween. Like every year I got to put on the original.
Yeah.
Halloween.
And that segues like right into me. My answer is Michael Myers. And my favorite series would be the Halloween series. And I'll tell you a quick story about Halloween and like growing up as a kid in Brooklyn. We would have like these spooky, I guess you call them spooky walks, haunted mansions. There was like a haunted neighborhood that we would go to every year. And it would just have a massive amount of people there, like a huge, think of like a parking lot full of like people waiting online to go into a concert. And then we would just like try to get close to like the front of these houses that had all the decoration. And then they have people like in character dressed up as like Michael Myers or Mama Bates or Freddy Krueger, things like that. And there would always be like this frightening fear in my stomach. And I'm like 6, 7, 8 years old. Like they would have one guy dress up as Michael Myers and he would walk around with like those plastic knives that when you press it in, like the knife it retracts. But he would have like make believe like blood, like fake blood, and he would put that on your face. And it was just such a creepy like feeling. Like it made me feel like I was in an actual Halloween movie. That's cool. Like Michael Myers movie. So till this day, like I just have such great fond memories of like that, and growing up and going through like, you know, corn mazes and spooky walks, haunted mansions. I love all that stuff. I love Halloween. It's my favorite holiday. I love Universal monsters. It was a big holiday for me. My mother would get all the decorations out as soon as October 1st hit, and we would have them up for the whole month. All the little, you know, posters and paintings and streamers and, you know, orange and black balloons and things like that. And every year we'd have a Halloween party. My mother would go ham on the you know, the trick or treat,
Apple bobbin,
pin the tail on the werewolf, all that stuff. So she would make like a witch's brew, and we would have like, you know, make all the trick or treat bags for the kids, and we would just go all out and, you know, go trick or treating and, you know, shaving cream when you got a little older and stuff like that. But I miss those. I miss those memories. I miss having that, you know. Now it's
Being
just
afraid of something.
Being afraid of something and just having that like that fear of like, oh fuck, like I don't like. He's scaring me. He's actually like bigger than me, and he's scaring me. Now it's like, fuck, nothing really bothers me. But yeah, Michael Myers by far my favorite character.
One thing I think helps with stuff like that is having kids, because when you're living vicariously through them,
yes,
now at our age,
but it's a different.
You'd have to jump scare the shit out of me. You'd have to kick through the wall and.
Yeah.
Oh, I agree. I hate the. You know what I hate the. Really, you're talking about the old neighborhood and everybody kind of joining in together to put on this show.
Yep.
You know, there's like fear of each other and this divisive fear.
Yeah.
Everyone's scared of each other, and the candy's full of crack cocaine. And,
But
one time in one place, it might have happened once, like, and everything's extrapolated into every. We hate each other because one thing.
It's the same
bullshit.
thing you just said about movies. It's the same. Like,
Nobody's giving away their drugs for free.
And kids aren't trick or treating like they used to either.
No,
my
'cause parents are too
streets used to
scared.
be packed.
I
with
can't
kids.
remember the last time
Nobody.
someone knocked on my door.
And that's crazy.
I got full size candy bars, and I couldn't give away a whole fucking box. I'm talking like an
remember
18 pack. There was
we went-
so few trick or treaters nowadays.
2003. we were out in droves still, and I was in high school.
Yeah.
We were out in droves with toilet
The
paper and
streets
the
were
whole fucking
loaded. Every
It
street.
was fucking you know,
Every
we were causing
street.
Dozen
havoc.
eggs, shaving cream.
We were going nuts.
But you
there.
were also fucking getting major hauls of candy. You know,
yeah,
and
we'd
there was
stop
just
over,
I
grab a
stopped
little bit,
trick-or-treating
say
when I
hi.
was 11.
Yeah,
That was the
you
last time I
know,
did it.
everybody needs to get
Oh,
over
I
themselves.
trick or
Get off
treated
your
until I was
phones
old as
and-
fuck.
I
I wanted
stopped,
the
I
candy.
stopped at 11.
I would be going when I was like 15 or 16. Like, yeah, no, I'm 12. You know, I just wanted the candy.
It's too much. There's too much of the known now.
Right.
Where before it was like the unknown that made it like kind of like, oh, what could happen to me if I go out on Halloween night? Now it's like now you know what could potentially happen with you, and it'll be fucking videotaped on camera.
Yeah, too.
So it's like nobody wants to fucking like.
do that.
Yeah.
Some people.
It
Yeah,
sucks.
I remember really fond memories of in old neighborhood in Massachusetts. There would be a huge gathering at my friend's house. His mom would go all out. My mom would go all out when I was a kid, but the whole fucking neighborhood was going all out at their house.
I would
Salem
give
has
anything
to be
have
nuts around
those-
Halloween.
Salem is fucking annoying on Halloween, but you know. Yeah, it's cool to be there.
It's just a day
and
that's over. I would give anything to go back to those days. Just to.
It was a
maybe
hell of
for
a thing.
one day just to have it.
My mom always put on the Halloween.
Even
parties.
having a video of it, which I
Decorate the
don't.
whole house.
Nobody had,
I miss going shopping too for the Halloween decorations and the Halloween costumes. I miss like you'd always do it like in September, like right as like they started putting out the decorations. You try to decide what you want to be.
Now-
One year I was Dracula, one year I was Freddy Krueger, one year I was Jason, one year is you had
now
the,
it's like we got to be in before sundown. I'm like,
Halloween
sundown is when the
1992
trick or
is
no,
treat
people
starts.
just go to their buddy's house and get wasted, and they wear whore costumes and fucking
Yeah.
stupid shit.
When I was a kid, we went to the Roosevelt Field
there's
Mall 'cause they
no
were still
child
doing mall
element to
shopping.
Halloween anymore.
You remember the mall shopping where they were doing the candy because of the big candy scare? I remember we went to the Roosevelt Field Mall when I was a little kid. It was a Halloween 1992, and they had Michael Keaton Batman in the mall doing an appearance and shit, and kids could take pictures. And that was like right at the time I was dressing as him. I'm pretty sure I went there dressed as him.
The other thing about Halloween is it became less about being spooky and scary and dead and monsters to being what's funny. Haha, that's a great outfit. Which I'm guilty of it. I like a good funny outfit. And then the girls, it's like how hot can they look as
especially as
sexy
adults,
dead nurse.
Like, again, I bring it back to like not having children right now. So I think that's a big part of our generation. Probably has the least amount of children out of any ever before us. So it just you don't have that opportunity.
Can't
where
afford homes,
You
let
want
alone
to put
kids.
that on and like put on the spectacle. I think that's part of what's missing is being able to live vicariously through versus.
We're not.
I can't
we're not.
repeat my childhood, but I can at least offer.
We're not carrying over our traditions from our parents to anyone right now.
Right.
So it's just dying with us.
We're losing recipes.
It's so it sucks. So to answer the question, the one that I think about the most, or the one that scared the living shit out of me as a kid, nightmare stuff. I would have nightmares.
Freddy Krueger?
Freddy fucking Krueger, man. When a Freddy Krueger guy would pop out in Halloween and like run up the block,
The knife hand.
terror, pure white fear.
Give my number
He's
two.
kind of like the Wolverine, but worse because he infiltrates your dreams.
God, he was. Yeah, it was. You were
Get
so
out of
vulnerable
my
to
dreams.
Freddy Krueger, and going to sleep as a kid.
Yep.
That's the hardest thing. You're scared
yeah.
of going to sleep.
Yep.
You're like,
Right.
I'm never gonna wake
Right.
up, or whatever paranoia you have as a kid.
Yeah.
So it was just playing on the worst kind of fear you could ever have.
Psychological.
And I fucking remember watching.
I remember it was like taboo for like the kids to go to a Nightmare on Elm Street movie where my mom would like rush out of the house with my older neighbor who was like a couple years older than me, and she would like go with him, and I would always be like fucking furious because I was like 5-6 years old. I was like, I want to watch this. And finally you watch it like in the middle of the night when they're sleeping, and you take the tape out from underneath the couch. But yeah, like those are memories like I would give anything for again.
I remember, dude, and those movies were like, you watch them, they're so bad now. Whatever.
Halloween still holds up for the
Oh,
most
it's
part.
just Freddy Krueger.
It was
the
the
Freddy
original.
Krueger
Putting in the
New
tape,
Night-
it was grainy. It was like
He was funny more than anything. He was goofing around a lot.
He was.
But the New Nightmare one was really fucking. That one had me shook for years. As I was in like 4th grade or something. It was like Freddy's New Nightmare. Oh,
First
there's this-
3D movie I ever saw in the theater too. Dream Warriors.
The crack in the fucking and
The 3D
Crack,
glasses.
dude, and then also when the blades come out of his stomach when he's sleeping.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
You
And
know,
then they kill the girl like they did in the first movie by dragging her up the wall, up the ceiling. That
Bleeding her out.
totally. I was fucked up. My mom was like, "You watch the scary." One time, my mom played a trick on me. She played the worst trick on me ever. So in my old house, we lived in a 3-story house in Salem, and there was the front door had a corridor and a staircase that went up, but we didn't use that. It was blocked off. We had the first floor, the landlord had the one above us, and his daughter had the third. Probably right around now, maybe in this season or something, I fucking got home. I was with a friend. We wanted to watch Freddy Krueger. We put it on. We're watching it on fucking VHS. My mom yells from the bedroom. I'm like, what? Get up, go to the bedroom. She's gone. That's weird. I run back into the kitchen. I'm like, Ma? Go outside, like peek. And I'm young. This has to be like 4th grade. Look outside. She's nowhere. She's fucking totally hiding. But I am so like immersed. We're like midway through the movie. Complete panic, dude. I fucking crying. My neighbor came downstairs, and then my mom pops out like a dick and is like, "Oh, I'm sorry." She got me stone cold so good, and I'll never forget that because I was like traumatized in that moment because I was so bought into the movie.
Parents would never do that today. They're too much of a fucking pussy.
My mom would always play
They're
good.
still
My mom
fucking
was
with their
good for a
kids and
good joke.
recording it. Look at all these fucking videos of the Grinch, breaking into Christmas, and then the kids are all. I love those videos. I love those. I live for those. They like run like
Fucking
Scooby Doo with
dragging
like
the fucking tree out of the house. And
When they actually really do some damage and they're like taking some, running out with the gifts. I love that shit.
like
They're still
trying to
fucking
fight
with
back
them.
and shit. It's so funny.
Yeah.
Chris, what's yours?
Well, I do want to just say Michael Myers had the best music. I mean, that song, no other horror movie has ever been able to have such an iconic soundtrack as that.
And now
It's
we've
tough.
moved on to the religious stuff. It's more religious, like Satanist shit.
Yeah.
Little
Well, no,
girls
now
with
it's also a
black
lot of
hair.
like
Conjuring
it's a
was fucked up.
documentary, like it's shot like it's an actual like
Paranormal Activity type
Blair,
shit.
Yeah,
Blair Witch
that's
Project.
Blair
I hated
Witch
that
type
shit.
Everything,
stuff.
yeah.
I remember everybody being terrified when that came out. Like it's real. So I do have to say that. I mean, I was gonna go with Freddy Krueger. It's different too because you have different types of monsters. You have the slow, silent. Jason Voorhees. Maybe I mean like him and Michael were silent.
I would say Jason had the best kills. Like Jason's kills were fucking.
He was like
He was
superhuman strength.
Yeah, you would watch those movies for the kills as you got it, like as an older kid.
But they're very similar, Jason and Michael, in that they both wear the mask.
No, but
and-
Michael Myers, the original Halloween, you never saw him kill anyone. Like
right, because it was what was it? It wasn't even like him, right? Wasn't it somebody else?
no, it's him. But like you wouldn't see blood, you wouldn't see like the actual cutting or decapitations or anything like that. Like he would just.
It was more about suspense.
it
and,
was
like,
more
being
sus-
No,
suspense.
I'm mixing it up because the first Jason movie, it wasn't actually Jason. It was
My
his
father
mom or
says to
something,
this
right?
day
That's
he
Friday the 13th.
he makes sure the doors
So,
are
yeah,
locked
the
because
first
of that
Friday the
movie.
13th, the
Yeah.
mom was the
Oh, yeah.
killer.
Paranoid.
But then Friday the 13th 3 was when they introduced Jason with the hockey mask.
Yeah.
Shit. When I was a kid, Jaws was a horror movie.
Oh yeah,
Still
it
is.
is. Everybody
Horror,
was afraid to
bro.
go in the
It still
ocean.
That's probably the only one that competes with the
Still
music.
considered a horror movie.
I didn't want to touch the floor. I wanted to jump from like the couch to the other couch. I was like,
yeah.
don't touch the floor.
Floor's lava.
There was a lot of smaller horror movies too. Like I don't know if you guys ever saw Basket Case.
Of course.
You seen
People
it?
under the stairs.
So many people never saw Basket Case.
I would
You seen
spend
it?
Friday nights at the videotape getting the cheesiest, shittiest fucking horror movies.
Yeah, there was some
Pet
good shitty horror
Cemetery,
movies.
People under the
Pet
stairs,
Salem's a lot
Cat's
is-
Eye.
Gremlins.
No,
No,
Gremlins
But
was-
Basket Case fucked me up a little bit because I saw that shit when I was like 4 or 5 years old. My brothers made me watch it.
Hellraiser.
Hellraiser, yeah.
Hellraisers
Great
was
movie.
fucked up. Yeah, there
don't
was
watch it.
Wishmaster was
Massacre.
another one. If you ever saw
Wishmaster.
Wishmaster,
The Exorcist is a fucking
Leprechaun.
phenomenal movie.
Leprechaun was
Original.
when I first saw
Leprechaun,
Candyman,
Candyman. Basket Case is the first time I saw it.
Chucky. I
It's
mean,
the little-
come on.
If you don't know,
Chucky.
for those who don't know Basket
Child's
Case,
Play,
it was
yeah.
like a conjoined twin that was removed from his brother, and he was like this blob with
Yeah.
sharp
Fucking
teeth.
Puppet Master. You ever see
He
those?
lived in a
Those are good.
basket, and there's one scene where he's like fucking flicking the tit around.
Yeah,
It was the first time I ever saw a tit.
yeah.
It's always one of those.
And I was-
movies.
I didn't
Was
understand.
that your topic? Like the first time you saw something you shouldn't have?
Well, hold on, I didn't even choose my guy yet.
You said.
Who did I say?
I'll stage that.
I was gonna go with Freddie. I didn't choose him because he won.
I thought we weren't doing honorable mentions. You gave us 3 already.
I didn't give you 3. I just said you guys were talking about 6 other movies. I said you ever see Basket Case. That's not
No,
3.
you said Jason. You
So what's
said
your
Freddy.
favorite?
You said maybe Michael Myers.
I would have to. I was gonna say Freddy, but just to keep it different, so I'm not choosing the same thing Vin went with. But Freddy fucked with your head.
Oh yeah.
So that was what was different about it. It was psychological.
Played on normal situations and fucking turned them into hell.
I will go with Jason because Jason, you know, it was just like that tragic tale of like the young kid. You know, he was bullied. He was like, you know, I guess he was special, and they bullied him, and he drowned in the lake, and the want for revenge, and I don't know how he went from this, you know, slow, weak kid to this giant monster.
Fucking superhuman hell shit.
Yeah, I mean, he's
Satanic
dead.
black
I mean, you know,
magic.
he always
Sick
comes
shit.
back.
Sick shit.
Sick shit. He always comes back. And then also I had to say, too, the video games for the Friday the 13th. I mean, when me and Joe, like, first became friends, you know, when I first met Joe around about, that was one of the games we would play together. We play that Friday the 13th game.
But not for the one for the NES, because that game is terrible.
The one from the NES back in the day I played when I was a little kid, and that shit scared the hell out of me.
See him walking with the machete right now.
Yeah,
Like,
dude, that was like a classic game that had a cult following.
blood splatter. What was it? Splatterhouse.
Slaughterhouse.
Slaughterhouse on TurboGrafx.
Splatterhouse.
Splatterhouse. Sorry. Splatterhouse on TurboGrafx was Friday the 13th, like Jason Voorhees shit, and you were Jason. It was awesome.
But that Friday the 13th game, we had a lot of fun, you know, trying to escape from the map, and then they unfortunately...
Texas Chainsaw Massacre is pretty good.
Not as good.
It's not as good.
The newer one
There's
was
I think it's something.
Oh, dude. Oh, you fucking
Clowns
said
game?
that. Now you know what? Fuck. I'm not doing the honorable mention. But nobody mentioned them, and we can't move on to the next subject. Leatherface.
Leatherface.
Totally
I
forgot
said
about
Texas
Leatherface.
Chainsaw Massacre.
That shit scared the fuck out of me. I did a
My
book
dad
report
was-
on him.
My dad ruined that movie for my Uncle Joe, because my Uncle Joe said this is the scariest movie I've ever seen. He showed it for my dad. And you know my dad, sometimes
Down
things just
East.
make him laugh for no reason.
Yeah.
And it was the scene where
No
the truck
sells it,
driver
too.
comes out, and he's like all tough and shit, and then he hears, "Rrrr," and the guy's eyeballs pop out of his head, and he's jumping
he
in.
runs
And my
away.
father got hysterical laughing to the point where my Uncle Joe, he said he ruined his
Your dad looks at movies like this though. I just shoot him. I just fucking turn, shoot
Like,
him.
what are you
Bang, bang,
fucking
bang,
sitting
bang,
there
the guy's
talking
dead.
for? Just
Every
fucking
movie,
shoot him.
everything I've
I
ever
know.
seen him watch, he's
true.
just like, you turn and shoot him. I'm like,
shoot
it's
him.
supernatural. He's undead. It doesn't matter if you shoot him. You fucking.
Well, I don't know if Leatherface was supernatural, was he?
He
I don't-
wasn't,
I
but
don't
that
think
was also
so.
what made him scary. He's based on a real guy, Ed Gein, who fucking he would rob graves
Where your
and
face.
do this type of
He had,
shit.
the, he had the first Facebook.
Jeepers Creepers.
Jeepers Creepers is another good honor. That was great movie for
All the great like zombie movies. Day of the Dead, Night of the Living
yeah.
Dead, Dawn of the Dead.
Dawn of the Dead.
Evil Dead.
The one at the mall,
Evil
right?
Dead.
That was.
Evil
Yeah,
Dead 2.
that was
Army
fun.
of Darkness. Those
Those are
were
always freaky. Zombies always fuck you up.
It's not even to mention games like Resident Evil. I mean, honestly, those were always the most scared that I would get was playing like the Resident Evil games more than any
Oh.
other horror movie could
Silent
ever do
Hill
for me.
was pretty.
Silent Hill, yeah. I mean, fuck Pyramid Head, you know.
I wouldn't play any of those games. I was like, no.
Silent Hill was so
not
weird.
for me.
Resident Evil 2 had
Back in
the
the day.
jump scares. It would hit, the liquor jumps through the fucking interrogation
I
room
fucking hate them
window, and it
cocksuckers
just
hanging
scares
from
that.
the ceiling.
I
with the
fucking
tongues.
Oh yeah,
jumped.
those-
I was like, oh,
those
shit!
motherfuckers.
The
always
first time
have
the
you.
crows break through the glass in
Oh.
Resident Evil 1.
Oh,
shit
yeah.
myself.
Oh, when you find your dead friend. I don't remember who it was. You find one of your friends
Raising
dead,
your
and the
face?
crows are there.
Barry?
What about Final Destination?
I never really cared for.
I
those
still don't
movies.
like driving
First one had
behind
me
trucks
fucked
with
up.
logs.
Everyone always remembers that. Yeah,
First
I mean,
one, because the plane crash. They're playing on all those fears. They're playing all these key.
the Scream
Yeah.
movies, the Saw movies.
Scream was another one I was thinking about because that was like at the time in the
But-
90s that
It
was
was-
the biggest
I was
thing
thinking of
ever.
But it was
earlier.
almost like a parody of like what we loved before that. Like Scream was like playing on your love for those movies that were kind of like not giving us anymore.
They were mixing.
And
like,
then they started remaking, like Rob Zombie remade Halloween. The first one was good. After that, it was it.
I know what you
They
did last
they
summer
were-
also.
Yeah,
I
and
feel like
then
Scream
there was
was-
just like that stream of like shitty horror movies, which
Well, Scream
I
was
think
scary because
Saw-
it was psychological.
Scream was not scary.
Scream was scary because
Scream
the guy
was,
would call you up
first-
and he would be like, he would
it
be
was like-
fucking with the
the
girl.
first scene to Scream is crazy. The opening scene.
Yeah, the
is
first
automatic,
the first
right? When
scene
she's
with
gutted, hanging
Drew
from
Barrymore more. Yeah.
That's wild. That was a crazy thing.
But then it became like comical with the two kids, and they're in it together, and it just got so convoluted.
jumped the
and-
shark.
It became
that's one genre
Columbine,
that hasn't really
spoof,
suffered and like
stupid,
lost its
bunch
edge.
of asshole high
is
school
horror
kids.
because like
It didn't
you
have
look
the
at, like,
supernatural element.
you look at like Terrifier and stuff like that. There's still very edgy like horror movies. It's not like comedy where it's like suffered this like blow where like people
Train to
feel like they
Busan.
can't do.
You guys seen
Horror,
that?
You know what-
horror hasn't skipped a beat.
You know what I was thinking
Train
when
to
you brought this
Busan.
up
If you want to
earlier?
watch a good zombie movie.
The other thing that makes Jason and Halloween and those early ones really like, honestly, it was the first time you were seeing that kind of violence on film
And tits.
and tits,
Yeah.
blood and gore and death
tits.
and murder in a way
Toxic
that was
Avenger.
very
Crazy
like,
soundtrack.
Hey, the Toxic Avenger was the first time I saw tits.
oh, it was.
Yes.
Well, we've all answered
Melvin
this
the
except
Mop
Rob. When's the
Boy
first
and-
time you saw tits,
Yeah.
Rob?
Oh, that had to be Desperado.
Good.
Desperado.
I still have a huge crush on Salma
Salma
Hayek
Hayek.
because of Desperado.
I don't know if she sees a nipple in that.
I've
though.
seen tits in that one.
Are you kidding me?
I don't remember.
He straight up fucks her in the scene, and you can see the whole tits and fucking body
Yeah.
was
I
amazing.
might have to watch that.
Honestly, Weinstein hired her, so I believe it.
I'm thinking of like what was the vampire movie she was in?
Oh, From Dusk Till Dawn,
From
she
Dusk
was
Till
not
Dawn.
naked in that.
No,
she
but
was
she's
naked in
Sexy as
She was
in
naked in
Desperado.
I gotta look this up.
Gotta watch Desperado again. I watched that
Google
movie
it.
with my grandmother for the first time.
I don't know
She's
why
like,
I don't
tell,
remember that.
She's like, don't tell your mom
Yeah.
you watched this. That was one of those.
Melvin
movies
the Mop Boy.
That was also my first DVD ever. It was Desperado. Went to the Wiz. They had a big blowout
Nobody
sale
beats the
'cause they were
Wiz.
closing down, and we got a Blu-ray player for markdown. Not Blu-ray, DVD player, and we ended up getting a bunch of DVDs. And I convinced my dad. I was like, "Can we get Desperado?" And it was like Antonio Banderas with pistols on the front covers. And my dad's like, "Yeah, sure." And I was like, "Yeah, fucking tits."
I do have a wrap up question. I know we're winding
have a couple
down.
comments,
I was gonna
too.
say, do we want to do the comments?
Yeah, and also I was just going to say, why have they never made a Bloody Mary movie? Bloody Mary was fucking terrifying as a
We
kid.
used to do that for Halloween.
I used to believe that shit. I would go in the bathroom alone, and I would fucking
Well, they made
Carrie was
They made
crazy.
Candyman.
Yeah, they
Candyman. Yep.
Carrie was
Yeah.
a fucking crazy.
Carrie was-
Christine, Carrie, those are
Carrie. That's a good
Christine
mention.
fucked me up, dude. That 'cause
Silence
that
of the
car-
Lambs.
Yeah. Hey.
Rosemary's Baby is fantastic.
Hannibal Lecter.
The
You ever seen
Shining.
Rosemary's
Sure.
Baby?
Shining. The Shining is such a fucking.
Well,
head
obviously
fuck.
we're going into the Halloween season here, so we're definitely getting in the mood here. From the Dungeon said, did you guys mention
I've
the
seen the
Leprechaun?
Dungeon.
Somebody mentioned
I said,
Leprechaun.
Yeah. It was a hundred
Urban
of them.
Legend.
Leprechaun in
Scared
the Hood.
Phil.
Tits HBO. It's like, oh, the Leprechaun's on it.
Chucky. No, he said Chucky. That was another
Somebody-
fucked up.
Somebody rattled them
Cinemax.
off.
Skinemax.
And then Phil said, I watched The Witches when I was 4, and it killed me. I don't think I ever heard of that one.
I remember watching the Spawn movie on TV, and then like
Awesome.
when it ended, it was because I enjoyed the Spawn movie, but then after that, it was a movie called The Dentist, and I started
remember
watching it, and
that.
that fucked me up, and I was like, I can't finish this movie. I remember being a
remember
kid
that.
when that came out.
That was an HBO one. man.
Yeah,
That was a weird movie. That guy
yeah.
was, and that noise.
He like cut the kid's like mouth, and it was like
Yeah.
bleeding, and I'm like, that's it. Mouth.
playing on my fear of the dentist too. the bastard.
Yeah. Dr. Isaac Yankum. Well, we were kind of touching upon it before, but there was that point in our lives where we were all younger and we so desperately yearned for that nostalgia. So that brings us to our final topic of the day, which is, what is a TV show? How did we word this? I'm going to fuck it up. TV show when you were younger that your parents or movie, I guess, or is it a TV show?
I was
Stick with
thinking
TV?
to frame it up really easy. The first like forbidden movie you watched as a kid, like a movie you knew you weren't supposed to watch, and you watch it with a friend at a friend's house. You whatever. There was just a circuit. You went to a movie with a friend. A movie you just know, like, oh, I'm not supposed to.
Parents
watch
are
this.
like, you're not seeing that shit.
It's your
I'd say
first-
movie and
then
TV
I
show.
don't- it doesn't have to be sex or whatever.
Yeah, violent.
Right.
So again, the same answer would be, Melvin the Mop Boy and Toxic Avenger.
Really?
Toxic Avenger, there was sex, there was blood, there was guts. It was kind of like a goofy kind of movie, but like at the time it came out, I was probably 5, 6 years old, so not supposed to watch that. Watched it late night while my parents were sleeping, and it's also like different because as a kid, like my mother would let me watch whatever I wanted as long as I was with her. Not porn, but like
I get you.
she would take me to Freddie after a while, like after I begged her for a while. Like we would watch Michael Myers and Friday the 13th together. We would watch all the Universal monster movies together, like all that stuff. My mother was big into Halloween, so she never like pulled me away from watching movies that I shouldn't. But if you're talking like pornos, like I don't know. Like,
No, not pornos.
pornos, like I mean, something that's like forbidden. I guess like my mother probably wouldn't want me watching that at like that age. But then talk about the age of like illegal cable, and we had all these channels like Spice Channel and HBO, Cinemax, and
Unscrambled if you had the box.
Playboy Channel and all these
Yeah.
things. So that would be my answer for
Everybody
like a
loved the
forbidden
scrambled
thing.
porn
But
channel.
I would
Not
almost
TV.
say she probably didn't want me watching Toxic Avenger at like 5 years old. But
Right.
I have a funny story for this. So, TV wise, South Park. I just remember specifically
So I know you're
one
young.
night too. No, I mean I watched it. I love South Park.
The movie is it or just
No, the show.
Kenny.
Gotcha.
I just remember one night specifically too where me and my brother used to share a room and we were watching South Park and Chef breaks out into
Hello there,
song
children.
about when a man loves a woman, like he starts like breaking down like Isaac what was his name? Isaac Hayes. And he starts like I think it might have even been like suck on my chocolate salty balls. And Chef is like
Oh my God, they were grooming you. You were
They were-
being
yeah,
groomed.
exactly. Now
Oh my
Put 'em
God,
in your
the,
mouth and suck 'em.
the grooming.
But I could see
Fucking
why you wouldn't
losers.
want your kid watching this. And I remember hearing my mom's footsteps.
Doesn't
She
mean it
was
shouldn't
like
get made.
all of her weight was walking
Full-blown-
on her
full-blown
heels,
panic.
just bump, bump, bump. Me and my brother heard her,
Dope.
and very quickly we switched it back to
Last.
Nick at Night, and Three's Company was on.
Three's Company too.
And my mom knocks on the door, bump, bump, bump.
Come on, knock
We
on
open
our
it. We were
door.
like ready for her. We open it up. Hey, what's up? And she's like, she looks at what are you guys watching? We're
like
like,
laughing
"Oh,
too loud."
We're just watching Three's Company. And she's like,
Yeah,
oh, Three's. She's like, she was so caught off guard by it, and she kind of laughed. She's like, oh yeah, haha, I remember Three's Company. Yeah, that's a funny one. And then she fucking walked out of the room, and we put it back on. And I don't know, it's just one of my favorite little memories of
yeah.
Meanwhile, Three's Company has a lot of undertones too. But yeah, South Park at the time. And now it's weird because my nieces are starting to watch it, and it's like you got
been around for
Randy
forever.
put his balls in a microwave, and now they're fucking. He's got to carry them around in a wheelbarrow, and it's like I don't know, it comes full circle. You kind of see how maybe you wouldn't want your kids watching this shit.
They don't. The thing is with kids, like going to talking like Beetlejuice, you're not perceiving it in that way. You don't even understand some of the humor and the undertones because it's just not there.
Not fully. You
And-
don't get it at all.
Right. It just doesn't click. The chemicals in your brain are not there yet to be like.
It's just funny because
Oh.
you grabbed his nuts and made a honking noise. Honk,
honk,
honk.
honk. It's just funny because it's
The
the
fact that
noise.
he said
and-
fuck, it was like that was
Yeah.
my favorite
oh, that
part of
was
the whole
by
thing.
far
It's like-
one of the first fucks I ever
Yeah.
heard. Or when he's tickling her, he's kind of
Yeah.
he's lifting up her dress.
Yeah.
He's doing.
Did you guys ever see Drop Dead Fred?
Oh my God!
used to love that.
Bro,
No
I
panties.
can't
No
believe-
panties.
I was going to say that before.
The evil one reigns in dreams.
Oh, I can't
that
believe you
bitch,
brought that-
She squashed my head.
Bro, that was one of my all-time favorites. I can't believe
Phoebe
you said
Gates.
that.
Loved
My mother
her.
caught
Fast
me trying to put my
Fast
head in
Times
a
at Ridgemont
refrigerator
High.
like
Great
that.
tits.
That's
Great
so
tits.
fucking funny. So my movie that like I was watching and I knew I should not be watching it. It was just like too much. I had to have been 5 or 6 because we were still here on Long Island. I was at a friend's house, and it was Terminator 2,
That's right.
Judgment Day.
Dun, 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 dun.
It was
Sarah
just so
Connor,
violent.
come with me if you want to live.
But I vividly remember I was telling the guys before the little town carpet with the streets.
Yeah.
Oh
So
my
we were doing
God.
Matchbox
The rug?
cars.
That's
yeah, the
right.
rug.
Yeah.
We were doing Matchbox
That
cars.
guy just died.
and
That
he
made me-
had fucking a TV with a
Yeah.
VCR built in.
Give me your boots, your clothes, and your motorcycle now.
Probably, yeah, still to this day,
My
favorite
CPU is a
movie.
neural net processor,
Neural net
a learning
processor.
computer. You know how good that movie is? My dad despised going to the theater. Didn't want to do it. My mom was always the one that would take me to the movies, and we saw everything together, like everything. Ghostbusters 2, Rocky, Batman, Ninja Turtles, everything. But the one movie that he wanted to go see because of the hype was Terminator 2, and he loved it.
how could
And
you
my
not?
my dad was a hard sell because he was older. He was much older than my mother at the time. My stepdad, this is. And he would like, black and white movies. He'd like war movies. But like the one movie he always loved was Terminator 2.
Movies.
Great movie.
The immersion of the movie is another word. You believe it is happening. There's nothing about it where you're like, oh, it's not.
Hasta
Even
la
the
vista.
robotic, when he pulls off his fucking skin
Yeah.
and they show the arm,
Yes.
it just looks so fucking real. That was when
Yeah.
ILM and computer-generated graphics were
Yeah.
at the dawn. It was
Yes.
the very beginning.
Liquid metal.
It was the
Looney
most
computer.
incredible fucking thing
That's right.
you've ever seen on screen. Especially when those now you watch it in fucking 4K HD, you can see all the little
Yeah.
gaps. But whatever. Back then, seamless, so believable. There's nothing in that
Also
movie.
kind of like a horror movie. That
Oh,
is
the
a bad
nuclear
guy
bomb?
coming, you know.
You were when that bomb
You
goes
feel
off,
you
that
were
was
Anyone
forbidden
not wearing
from
SPF
watching it,
1000 is
and
gonna have a
you
real bad
shouldn't
day.
have been watching
I say I don't mean the word forbidden. Like I just mean like, oh, you know, I'm not supposed to watch. There's too much cursing. There's too much
Violence.
guns. My mom was like on top of that stuff. She wasn't like,
Yeah.
oh, and especially when I was again like 5 years old. It must have been 1993. But the movie came out in 91 or 2. I don't know.
Probably around that, yeah.
So yeah, it was on VHS. So it was definitely like he just had it, scooped it.
Couldn't have been 93 because that was Jurassic Park. Had to be like maybe a year or two before it, 91.
I'm feeling like it was definitely in that 92, like, because I was young. I was like 5 years old. I was on, you're on like a play date. You're at your friend's house. And I just vividly remember, I think
July 3rd, 1991. I got it right again.
Oh, wow, what a weekend for fucking box office.
before I was born.
So, yeah, T2.
So before we get to Rob, we'll just throw some of the other mentions in the comments there, because From the Dungeon had a good one. He said Porky's.
Porky's.
That's
Porky's
a good,
Revenge.
because that one's pretty
Porky's and
pretty
Porky's
raunchy, right?
Yeah.
And Phil Dunphy said Biodome and or Wild Things.
Wild
We just
Things,
watched Wild Things the other night. We were playing Harry Potter Monopoly, and we put Wild Things on the background on Netflix. And
hell's
my
that
girlfriend got really mad when Denise Richards and Nev Campbell were fucking and got naked.
Hell yeah.
Really mad.
That's the whole point of the movie.
She's like, you're staring like you're a little kid. I'm like, fucking.
What do you mean?
Hello.
Look at her. Denise fucking, this is like when I was like prime time. It was
Yeah, oh,
like
yeah.
12, 13. I don't even remember now. What year did that come out? 98?
6.
Ben Wilder was another one that was like really raunchy for the time that it came out.
Well, Fast Times
I
at
was
Ridgemont
older.
High. It's the first
I
time you
was
learned
older
how to.
when that came.
For my generation, Fast Times at Ridgemont High is like the first time you figured out about sex.
Oh, right.
And you saw
She-
like sex, someone lose their virginity. You saw boobs for the first time. You saw like hazing.
a lot of broken
and things
VCRs.
Like that. Yeah. So I mean, if you've never seen that, that's an all-time like classic.
That's on Long Island.
Oh yeah.
I'm like 99% sure.
It was like California though.
I could the way they framed it up. It felt, I forgot what actually gets said because he goes into like a 7-Eleven and I could swear he says something that
I'd have to check back.
I'm gonna little dial.
I thought it was California.
Look into that.
Because they
Rob
talk
said-
about surfing and stuff. So it's like,
Oh right, that's true.
There's surfing on Long Island.
There is.
Yeah. Well, Bob, what's your forbidden thing that you washed against maybe your parents' best wishes?
I mean, it's tough to pinpoint something. I mean, I remember I used to watch like Ren and Stimpy and like Duckman and shit with my dad. My dad was really cool about watching shit. My mom hated all that stuff. So like my dad was like the free pass to like kind of watch the raunchier TV shows that probably shouldn't have been watching. But as far as like truly on my own, like
Yeah,
my parents didn't know, like neither of them. I remember one night I was like having trouble sleeping and I went in the living room and I turned on the TV and that was when I first discovered Cinemax had stuff later on.
Oh yeah.
And I remember like I don't know if it was like Taxi Cab Confessionals or one of those shows.
Oh
and I was
God,
just
yeah.
like-
Remember that? What was that? Real sex.
but that was like
sex.
that was
Sex.
the first time I caught something like on my own because my parents were always like on top. You know, my dad always lived in the living room watching
Caught a boner.
television and shit, and it was like
first.
funny. But I still that took me back because we brought up the conversation.
Nobody says
I actually
boner
came
anymore.
back.
Boner.
I was like, I haven't
got a
thought about
boner.
that in a long time.
Boner, dude.
I mean, a boner.
He's
man.
got a boner, son.
Got a boner.
Used to be able to put on channel 68 and it would be like scrambled.
Scrambled
It was
porn.
the Playboy
Oh, I think
channel.
I saw a titty.
But like if you kept watching, eventually all of a sudden it would show you the picture and it'd be like purple and like.
Yeah.
Green.
But it was like whoa, a tit.
Seen that? Pre-internet.
The internet, the best that you had.
First thing you did with the internet.
Download Sunny and Sable.
Kind of along these lines
Tori
though.
Wilson.
I do remember when I went to Blockbuster and me and my friend had already rented Conker's Bad Fur Day, which we brought up earlier. And it was crazy. It was a great game. It was a little raunchy, but it was a very fun game. like it was pretty much Banjo-Kazooie in a sense. It was a rare game, I believe. And then we tried to rent it again. Like we returned it and tried to rent it again. And the fucking guy, I remember his name. He worked at Blockbuster. His name was Morris. This motherfucker was like, "This game is restricted." That's what his voice. He had like a lisp. He kept telling my friend's mom, "This game is restricted. It's not for kids." And my friend's mom didn't actually care, but she felt like this guy was like putting her on the spot and making her look like a bad parent. So she didn't let us get it. But then like a week later, she ended up like just letting us rent the game. But I just remember like that was the first time I encountered where there was some fucking gatekeeper that was trying to keep me out from
keyboard warriors.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean he's doing his job. It's true. It was a mature game.
Just can't get you play this.
Grand
right
Theft
now.
Not
Auto.
paying him extra to fucking
Grand
not let
Theft
you do
Auto
it.
Just sitting here and it's a restricted game is plus 17.
But you remember that you would go to GameStop and like if you were getting a game like that,
I just want to play some Dungeons and Dragons.
no, they
later
would
with
rattle
some
off a
Christopher.
speech to your parent. Like if I remember my friend's mom went in to buy us, I don't know if it was Grand Theft Auto
San
at
Andreas.
GameStop. And they literally
San
gave her a
Andreas.
speech. Are you aware that this game has nudity? Blah 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 blah
Because
blah
the
blah blah.
government
blah.
got involved. The fucking hot coffee had.
Well, that was way
And they would have to
before-
say yes.
coffee.
They would have to approve the game.
Yep.
It's crazy. I mean, think about
the
that.
government was putting their noses in that.
Well, that happened like long before Hot Coffee and Grand Theft Auto. It started with Splatterhouse on the TurboGrafx.
Oh, shit.
Mortal Kombat too.
It was
Right?
Well, that was
violent as fuck.
Splatterhouse
Well,
was
that's
the
what they
first.
created the ESRB for, was Mortal Kombat.
Splatterhouse was the first game to have animated blood in it before Mortal Kombat. And then, yes, when Mortal Kombat came out, the Super Nintendo version did not have red blood in it.
That was a no-go for my mom. My mom, Mortal Kombat, that was off limits. That was one I could not
Get over here.
Yeah,
My mom wouldn't give me the
She
coins
must
for
have
the
heard
the
about it.
original
Yeah,
cabinet,
that's
so I
right.
had
Saw
to-
the. Come on. And then my fucking stepbrother came over with a Super
Finish him.
Nintendo, and we played the shit out of it. Like, you
But
know,
it wasn't blood on that one. The Sega Genesis version had the blood.
Oh, okay. Oh, good.
I think I was
turned it
exposed
off.
to a lot of shit prematurely
You're
because of my
fucking
older
old-
brothers.
yeah,
I'm the youngest, so I was seeing shit that I
It'd
shouldn't
show
have
you
seen.
stuff to see your reaction.
Right,
Well,
exactly.
there's porno mag, whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
You know, that probably goes back to where you probably would look in the candy store and you had the porno mag section.
Oh, it was all
And
like,
you would kind of peek.
you could just
was
right,
the
right
candy
at the
store?
top.
Oops! I thought that was a comic book. Oops!
And then they started.
Yeah,
putting
when
them
you would
in
go to the candy store, like they had a whole
magazine
porno
rack.
magazine
Right,
collection.
and then they
Sometimes
started putting
somebody
them in the
opened the
sleeves.
plastic.
The
you know?
Lotto place really
Yeah.
had that. That was
Yeah.
you going to Lotto.
Yeah,
the
That's
bodega.
more like those
But
places.
then they
The
put it in
bodegas,
the
they
sleeve.
had
they put them
all
in
of
the
After
Yeah, but sometimes
Larry-
people would open them, and then you'd be lucky and you find the one.
Right,
that's
someone,
open.
because Larry Flint and the whole war with the Penthouse and the government created a big thing about that. So they started putting them in that black sleeve. You could just see the face.
People
of
versus
the
Larry
model.
Flint, another great movie.
Oh, Woody Harrelson's the man in that. That's such a
Fucking
good one.
amazing.
Does he play Larry Flint?
Yeah, oh, it's
Woody
incredible.
Harrelson plays Larry Flint.
So good.
Harvey Agey Pagey.
And then Kurt Cobain's wife there, Courtney Love,
Love.
plays
Yeah.
his wife. It's actually it's a really good movie. It's a fantastic.
I love you,
fucking
Larry. I love you too, you crazy crack hooker.
And now that we're going on our 3-hour show here. Jeez.
Yeah. Well, it's always good to talk about the old
I don't have
times.
to be up early tomorrow, so I can hang out a little bit longer.
Yeah,
Usually
we had
I'm
a
in
good
a
flow.
rush,
We
but
didn't have
we,
to force it.
A lot
I had a
of
good flow earlier. I'll tell
Yeah,
you.
you were gone for the whole conversation, so
Yeah,
Yeah, you
Rob
had a
missed
good flow.
PlayStation, but
flow right through the toilet
It
with your
was
bidet.
It was nice.
Nice.
You're not
Nice.
living until you have water squirt in your ass, and then you don't have to wipe so much.
Jesus. All right, take
we
us
are
on
we're
that note.
we're apparently living like cavemen over here because everybody else around the world says bidet,
I'm telling you,
toilet paper.
Bidet is
It
the
makes you
greatest,
bidet.
one of the greatest things I ever fucking got.
Oh, you have a bidet too?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, gotta get.
I-
I'm telling you, get a fucking.
gotta have
Tushy
it.
does not sponsor our show. If you ever want Tushy, man,
Talking
me and
about
Rob
ass wiping.
fucking.
These guys are
It's great.
We're on
shitting
the.
shit up their ass.
You know?
It's clean.
do
There's,
you-
there's a certain confidence that comes with knowing you have a
You
cleaner
don't-
asshole than
There's no
anybody around
leaning.
you.
You
We
can't
go
do
right into that. So before you use the bidet, when you used the caveman toilet paper, as you pronounce it, when you wiped, did you stay seated or did you get up and then lean?
Jeez, do we
over?
want to? Do you think
Are we going into
Why do
this
we gotta
now?
finish the conversation? We had such a good.
we're
just
gonna talk
curious.
about shit to end the show?
We're going
That's
to talk about how
You
we
brought
wipe
that shit-
ourselves. That's
you
how
brought
we're
the
gonna
shit
end
up.
1%
No,
female
no.
demographic is
Help.
gonna tune out.
No, but I'm saying like there's weird people out there who can stay on the potty and wipe while they're on the potty and just hunch over.
Break your back. You gotta
Can't
stand
do
up.
that. I can't do that.
Bump, bump.
Get at least
stand up.
hover, you know?
It's no way. Maybe the bed,
lean-
maybe the bidet
no.
is the way. I don't know.
Bidet is the
That's
dude. I'm
everything
telling you,
I'm
I'm
get
telling
one.
you.
Get one. and
I may
then
have
try
taken a
it.
shit a half
You
hour
feel a
ago,
lot
but I
better.
bet my asshole's cleaner than yours.
Do we want to finish with these comments?
Help.
All right, guys, this has been the Break Room Podcast, where everything's random and the conversations just
shit.
go into
We're
completely
live,
different places.
And Rob leaves. And
And I had to go, you know, I was
He
flying
really
all
had
day.
to
and
go.
The fucking 3-hour
Gotta
fucking
go.
block.
The
that I had for
3-hour
show, I had to
shit.
go to send-
3 hours.
The 3-hour shit. I thought I was done, and then I had to sit back down on the bowl.
The 3-hour shit.
Help. Skipper. All right, guys, this has been the Break Room Podcast. Please hit that subscribe and the notification button, and please tell your friends. We are so close. We're just shy of 8,000, and maybe I'll do a special Vegeta video
For
when
9,000?
we finally get 9,000, and we'll get Joe to dress up like Nappa.
I don't know.
How's that?
Going to 10,000 next.
How's that? We're gonna get him to dress up like
10,000
Nappa, and
faster than
I'll be
2,000.
Vegeta. It's gonna be fucking fantastic.
Help.
But this has been the Break Room Podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in, Snoochie Boochies, and may the force be with you.
3, 2, 1.
oh, Joe!
Oh, Titus
my
O'Neil.
God, your fucking table and the computer just shook.
It is,
No one was mad that you cut the whole fucking You can go anywhere.
Do I do with that?
Yeah, and the Macho Madness and the Hulkamania.
On top of that, you're the best wrestler of all time. So I absolutely adore you.
For being the cream of the crop, yeah.
let's go!
Fucking idiot. You have no idea what you're fucking talking about.
God.
They were saying Sony apparently said that the PlayStation 5. You suckers! Is that the end of it?
Or every pixel of the game engine into the face.
Can't say
That Dallas.
Stupid.
What did I? You know, when that's like part of my Christmas